the Interstellar Mecha cook. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction, so please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter, and if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 251 Chop off the salty pig's feet. Ting Ting, since this beautiful lady is someone you know, why don't you introduce her to me? He Xingming said with a warm smile. Let me make some friends with her too. Zhu Pingting's face turned pale instantly. She certainly understood the deep meaning behind He Xingming's words, but she was a little unwilling to accept it. She had worked so hard for so long to defeat the other competitors and lock in the position of Mrs. He. She didn't expect that just by encouraging him to come to Shanghai, all her efforts would be in vain. So many people liked her, so why did she have to compete with her for an old man? Zhu Pingting glared at Lin Miaomiao resentfully. Speak up, He Xingming was unhappy. He was usually very tactful, but why did he become so dull and stupid at the critical moment? Zhu Pingting forced a sly smile. Brother Ming, this is my college classmate, Lin Miaomiao. She has great talent and potential. She's already a level 4 mecha pilot at such a young age. Most importantly, her family is wealthy and dotes on her. Zhu Pingting had gone all out to dissuade He Xingming from pursuing a new lover. God only knew how painful it must be to praise one's enemy. However, she hadn't anticipated that this praise, far from dispelling He Xingming's unrealistic thoughts, actually intensified his interest. With both wealth and beauty, she was the perfect candidate for the captain's wife. How could he miss this? With this in mind, He Xingming politely addressed Lin Miaomiao. Hello, Miss Miaomiao. Nice to meet you. Oh, hello, Lin Miaomiao replied casually, preparing to leave. She had no fondness for this calculating, overweight old man. Ye Hongwen also sensed something was amiss. This shifty-eyed fellow was actually targeting his beloved, as if he were dead. When you're done, go back to your room and rest. Don't forget you haven't slept for a few hours, Ye Hongwen said, sending them packing. Lin Miaomiao, having the chance to leave, naturally wasn't unwilling to do so. She said, then I'll excuse myself. He Xingming, anxious, quickly winked at Zhu Pingting, signaling her to stay. Zhu Pingting was initially reluctant, but then she realized that with Lin Miaomiao's circumstances, there was no way she would be interested in this old pervert, He Xingming. More accurately, she was probably avoiding him. Keeping her to disgust her felt like a good idea. Having made up her mind, Zhu Pingting said tearfully, Miaomiao, we are classmates for 4 years after all. Even if there were some small grudges in the past, we should forget them after not seeing each other for so long. Can't you have a meal with me? Let me remind you, it's actually not even half a year since we last met. Lin Miaomiao did not intend to save her face, and the grudges between us are not small. I am not so magnanimous as to have breakfast with you. Zhu Pingting gritted her teeth. Didn't anyone tell you that you should leave a way out for everything and not do things to the extreme? No. Lin Miaomiao shook her head bluntly. My dad only said that if anyone offends me, just fight back. It doesn't matter if you get disabled or disfigured. The elders in my family will take care of it for me. After that, Lin Miaomiao's eyes deliberately swept over Zhu Pingting, as if looking for a place to start. Seeing her like that, Zhu Pingting's hair stood on end. She dared no longer to try to persuade him to stay, saying dryly, since you're so tired, go back and rest. Lin Miaomiao's lips curled slightly. This little piglet was quite sensible. Knowing that the situation was hopeless, she chose to give up. This time, she would let her go and not seek revenge. Zhu Pingting gave up, but He Xingming refused to accept it. He believed that he was a captain and a level 6 mecha master, so he deserved to find a wife who would be helpful to him. He had finally found one, so how could he let her go? Seeing his target lift her leg to leave without any regrets, the anxious He Xingming finally couldn't bear it anymore. He raised his hand to pull her away, but Ye Hongwen quickly swatted her away. Captain He, please show some respect to my crew, Ye Hongwen said sternly. It's not for soldiers to be physical, He Xingming shuddered. They were both level 6 mecha pilots, so he should have been more powerful, but seeing Ye Hongwen's current state, he was frightened to the point of weakness. No, this couldn't go on. They were both level 6 mecha pilots, and he was their senior. He Xingming didn't want to be outdone, so he feigned composure and said, I just want more people to make it more lively. There's nothing else to it. Captain Yi, please don't misunderstand, really? But I don't like to join in the fun. Lin Miaomiao refused. After talking for a long time, she was getting impatient and didn't bother to talk to the people from the Fenjia fleet anymore. Without even saying hello, she simply said she wanted to go to bed early. I'd thought Xingming wouldn't bother me anymore after all that was said, but I hadn't expected the world to be filled with fearless and shameless people. Having been rejected twice, he refused to give up, defying Yi Hongwen's cold face and tugging at him. People should make more friends. Miaomiao, you can't do that, He Xingming said with a smile that narrowed his eyes. Look, no matter how reluctant she was, he still caught her. Lin Miaomiao was frustrated. Hadn't she just been scared off? How dare he still touch her? Noticing the hand touching her arm suggestively, she finally lost her temper, pulled out a kitchen knife from her space button, and slashed at his arm. Zhu Pingting, who was watching the show with great pleasure, cried out, Stop! How dare you? If his arm was severed, He Xingming's military career would be over. Zhu Pingting had finally managed to free herself from this predicament, so how could she be willing to get stuck in it again? Lin Miaomiao didn't bother to pay attention to her, only lashing out with a snarl. If you dare to lay a hand on me, be prepared to have your hands chopped off. He Xingming was, after all, an agile soldier, and Lin Miaomiao's angry attack had left him some room for maneuver, so he managed to dodge the knife. Even after the danger had passed, He Xingming, still reeling from the shock, sternly shouted, What did Lin Miaomiao want? I just wanted you to have a meal together, yet you resorted to such brutal violence against your superiors. You're not her superior. Yi Hongwen gritted his teeth. He hadn't expected He Xingming to be so shameless, daring to grope in front of so many people. He didn't bother to save face for him. Captain He, your character is terrible. You can skip this meal. Luo Chang, get out. Was he about to be kicked off the ship? He Xingming was dumbfounded. Ever since he became captain of the Fenjia, no one had ever dared to treat him this way. Yi Hongwen, you're so good, He Xingming shouted with a dark face. You'd better think it over. Shen Yu is no match for us Fenjia. How dare you turn against me for such a small matter? So what if I'm no match? My people are not something you can bully. I will never let you go, Yi Hongwen sneered. Was he too low-key? Anyone thought they could step on him? Luo Cheng stepped forward and said with a smile, Captain He, let's go quickly. Do you really want us to send you off personally? Chapter 252, Seeking External Aid. He Xingming wanted to turn around and leave, but he felt it would be embarrassing, so he just stood there with a sullen face. Don't be too extreme in everything. Don't forget whose territory you're on, He Xingming said with a hint of threat. Young man, it's better to keep a low profile on someone else's territory, otherwise you will face consequences that you can't afford. Yi Hongwen sneered, I'd like to see what kind of consequences you can't afford. Luo Chang, what are you still standing there for? Captain He doesn't seem willing to move, it looks like we really have to see them off, Luo Cheng said excitedly, rubbing his hands together. Brothers, don't just sit there and watch the fun. Come on, the people who had finished breakfast a long time ago but were sitting in the restaurant in the dark with empty bowls in their hands stood up one after another, yelling and running towards Yi Xingming. In the process of pushing and shoving, they lifted up the people from the Fenjia fleet and ran downstairs. He Xingming wanted to die. If he had known that the people of Shen Yu were so tough, he would have brought more people with him. No, it should be said that he should not have come. It was all Zhu Pingting's fault. If she hadn't mentioned that Shen Yu had many classmates and that the captain was once her teacher, how could he have been persuaded to board the Shen Yu? Remember this, He Xingming shouted in a trembling voice, I will never let you go. Zhu Pingting was already pale and cried in embarrassment as she was carried by someone. Lin Miaomiao, after all, we are classmates. How could you do this to me? I can't afford a classmate like you. Lin Miaomiao was unmoved. Besides, it's not me who is sending you away. Don't ask for mercy from the wrong person, but he did it for you. Zhu Pingting's voice gradually faded away until it could no longer be heard. After the chaos, there were only a few people left in the restaurant. Yi Hongwen said to one Zixi, who did not leave with him, Zixi, notify Zhao Chang. After He Xingming is sent back to the Fenjia main ship, immediately close the hatch and cancel the docking. Understood, when Zixi agreed and ran aside to deliver the message. After sending He Xingming away, Ye Hongwen softened his voice and said to Lin Miaomiao, "Are you okay? You didn't get enough rest last night. Why don't you go and rest for a while?" Lin Miaomiao shook her head and was about to speak, but Shang Ruinan, who had been standing at the door of the restaurant and watching coldly for a long time, couldn't help but sneered. What can happen to her? She was just touched, and she reacted so violently. Why is she pretending to be pure? Now she has offended the captain of Fenjia. What if a fight breaks out? Renjiao, who turned back halfway to comfort people, happened to hear this and immediately exploded. "Hey, how can you talk like that? Since you are so open and generous, how about I send you as a gift trapeze that big?" "Why? It was her fault. It has nothing to do with me," Shang Ruinan said angrily. "You are biased. You are disregarding everyone's safety for her alone." Renjiao laughed angrily. "From what you said, what you mean is that if a pervert takes a fancy to you one day, we can just let it go and send you away to avoid trouble." "Don't talk nonsense. It was clearly her who provoked them. She even carried a kitchen knife with her. Anyone who didn't know would think our Shen Yu team was tough." Shang Ruinan firmly blamed Lin Miaomiao. "Anyway, this matter can be resolved peacefully, alright? We at Shen Yu won't let our team members be bullied just because we're afraid of trouble." Ye Hongwen stared at Shang Ruinan coldly. "If you have nothing to do, go clear the table." Originally, the team members were supposed to put their plates in the large dishwashing station in the kitchen after dinner, but today, to see off Fenjia's guest, everyone had thrown their plates on the table. "You want me to clear the table?" Shang Ruinan was shocked. "Aren't there robots? I just found you something to do because you're too bored," Renjiao said, covering her mouth with her hand and laughing. "The boss has spoken. Why don't you go?" Of course, Shang Ruinan wouldn't agree to clear the plates, but she couldn't stay any longer, so she just walked away angrily. After this commotion, Lin Miaomiao's anger had mostly subsided. Now that her rationality had returned, she began to worry. Isn't this a good idea? We're still on Azure Dragon Core territory. If a fight breaks out, we'll be at a disadvantage. "No," Ye Hongwen said calmly. "Even if he wants to attack, he has to be brave enough." "What do you mean?" Lin Miaomiao was confused. "It's normal for people to do something outrageous when they're furious, even if they'll regret it later." Ye Hongwen didn't bother to explain, simply pulling her out. "Go and rest. I'll take care of everything else. I'll make sure you get back to base safely." Lin Miaomiao was forcefully escorted to the dormitory door. Seeing someone still trying to be mysterious, she pouting and entering the room, slamming the door shut. Rejected, the person pursed his lips helplessly and headed downstairs to the cockpit, dialing a number stored in his communicator. The video call connected, and the avatar of a beautiful, middle-aged woman appeared, with a vast strawberry field in the background. "Honey, did you miss me? You actually called me so early this morning," the beautiful woman began enthusiastically. "I missed you, too. Can you be more normal?" Ye Hongwen pursed his lips, rather helplessly saying, "If you keep doing this, I'll hang up." "No." The beautiful woman immediately put on a serious face and said cordially, "Hongwen, what's going on?" Ye Hongwen nodded. "There's something I need your help with," the beautiful woman had only casually asked, and she hadn't expected a positive answer. She immediately piqued her interest. "Go ahead." Ye Hongwen recounted what had just happened, mentioning the current situation. "They have 4 battleships, and their mecha divisions are several times ours. If a fight really came to that," he didn't say the outcome, but they both knew it, and the beautiful woman couldn't help but smile. "Oh, that girl has quite the personality. I like her," the beautiful woman complimented generously. "But her movements aren't quite as sharp as they could be. If only she could chop off that salty pig's paw." Ye Hongwen frowned. While he felt a bit sorry for her, that wasn't the point. He'd clearly come here to ask for help. "Put aside the compliments. Could you please help me find someone to take Fenjia away? I think there's going to be a fight outside," Ye Hongwen pleaded. The beautiful woman raised an eyebrow. "You want me to help find someone?" Ye Hongwen nodded. If he hadn't needed her help, he wouldn't have had the time to waste on this. "But I don't want to help," the beautiful woman said with a smile. "Why don't you just go find someone who can help you?" Ye Hongwen's face darkened. "You know we always argue when we meet." He might not even answer the video call. The beautiful woman sighed, feigning helplessness. "That's all I can do. I won't help a naughty child. He hasn't called anyone since we connected the video call." Ye Hongwen. Chapter 253 The Most Vicious Woman's Heart. Can we talk properly? Yi Hongwen smiled bitterly. The cockpit was almost there, but he still hadn't found any help. It was really enough. You can handle it yourself. I was injured yesterday and can't get on the mecha for the time being. If no one stops Fenjia from going to war, you can just wait for my funeral. Are you injured? Is it serious? The beautiful woman didn't dare to joke anymore. Okay, I'll get you help right away. I don't have a grandson yet, you mustn't die. What she meant was that if he had a grandson, it wouldn't matter whether he died or not. Can they still have a good chat? Damn. Even though Yi Hongwen had a good mentality, he couldn't help but feel depressed when he heard such irresponsible words. He couldn't curse, so he could only urge in a bad mood, Mom, you'd better go quickly, otherwise, let alone your grandson, you'll lose your son and future daughter-in-law. I know, you're so nagging. Being hurried, the beautiful woman didn't bother to ask about her future daughter-in-law, and hung up the phone with a click. Yi Hongwen stared into space for a long moment, finally shaking his head helplessly and entering the cockpit. Upon entering, he saw He Xingming's obnoxious, fat face, swaying across the main monitor screen. What's wrong with your captain? Didn't he say he'd be here soon? I've been waiting for half an hour. Is he just going to become a coward? He Xingming's mouth opened and closed, the fat on his face trembling. I swear, if he doesn't come and apologize, I'm going to lose my temper. Oh, I'm curious. If he doesn't apologize, how are you going to lose your temper? Are you going to attack me? Yi Hongwen replied coldly. He had just been pissed off by his own mother, and now it was nice to have a punching bag. He Xingming was stunned. He hadn't really thought about this question. No matter what his reason was, attacking the Shen Yu, a fellow warship, would have disastrous consequences. While he could talk, he was fine, but actual action was unlikely. Zhu Pingting, standing beside He Xingming, didn't care. She only knew that when Shen Yu's men had thrown her back to the Fenjia main ship, many people had turned strange faces as they tried to suppress their laughter. How could she not resent such humiliation? However, the Fenjia captain was too timid. If he made his own decision, it would be all talk and no action, and he would be unable to achieve any revenge. How could she accept that? Zhu Pingting rolled her eyes and immediately had an idea. Shen Yu is a fleet of the Central Legion. It shouldn't come to the Kaya Star region for a mission. I think you're just pretending. He Xingming's eyes lit up, and then he frowned as if he thought of something. The other day, the captain's adjutant sent me a message saying that Shen Yu was coming to the Kaya Star region to capture pirates. This matter can't be used to make an article. Luo Cheng laughed. You should find a better reason. Do you think you can fool the military with such a lie that will be exposed at the slightest poke? Why is this not good? If I'm not mistaken, you should have caught pirates on your ship. Zhu Pingting smiled sinisterly. As long as we get rid of you, the pirates will become the anchors of these two warships, and we will be the heroes who killed the pirates and avenged you. Wow, that's vicious, Luo Cheng couldn't help but exclaimed. But are we so stupid that we don't know to ask for help from your headquarters? Don't we have a signal jammer? Zhu Pingting said unconvincedly. I'll have someone turn it on right now. See how you guys can contact the military. You want help? No way, how can you be so stupid? When Zixi covered her face. Don't you know what hindsight is? I have to say, your IQ is astonishing. The idea was indeed worthy of praise, but it was a pity that they hadn't considered things thoroughly enough. If they had turned on the signal jammer from the beginning, maybe this plan would have worked. But now it can't work. The message for help has already been sent out. Fortunately, He Xingming was not too stupid. He quickly figured out the trick and stopped Zhu Pingting from continuing to act stupid. He decided to continue with the harsh words and think twice before taking action. Don't say these useless things. He Xingming's fat face trembled. Just tell me whether you want to apologize or not. If you don't, I will destroy your warship even if I don't hurt anyone. Anyway, the reason is ready. I was almost chopped by your people just now. Yi Hongwen frowned. I just feel a pity that the knife didn't hit you. It would be more satisfying to cut off one of your hands. You. Yi Hongwen, I will remember you. Even if you apologize now, it's useless. I will definitely destroy your warship. He Xingming slammed the control console angrily. If he didn't accept the toast, he would have to drink the forfeit. How could he not teach him a lesson? He Xingming turned around and yelled at the chief pilot. Didn't you hear what I just said? Hurry and make preparations. Let's keep Shen Yu's main ship today. The chief pilot of Fenjia looked embarrassed. It was the boss who gave the order, but he was the one who carried it out. If the military asked for punishment, He would be the first to be investigated. Captain, this is not a good idea, the captain of Fenjia tried to persuade. We are all soldiers of the Federation. It is not good to kill each other. Even though he was angry, He Xingming listened to him and hesitated. At this time, Zhu Pingting also interrupted. Brother Ming, why don't we give Teacher Yi another chance? As long as he apologizes, that's a pity. I just don't want to apologize, Yi Hongwen replied indifferently. I don't know if there is any other choice. Of course there is. He Xingming was wrong when he heard it. He thought Yi Hongwen had finally given in, so he laughed and said, as long as you transfer the file of the girl just now to our Fenjia, today's matter will be written off. I promise not to cause trouble for Shen Yu again. Yi Hongwen was furious. At this time, he was still thinking about Miaomiao. Why didn't this pig just die? He wasn't in the mood to continue dealing with him. Calculating the time, reinforcements should be arriving soon. Yi Hongwen said scathingly, you don't have any men? If you want to fight, we'll fight you. But one final word of advice, if you dare to start a fight, you'll bear the consequences. Having issued the challenge, Yi Hongwen didn't even wait for He Xingming's reply, simply having Zhao Cheng cut off contact. Wen Zixi remained confident during the standoff with Fenjia, but after shutting down the video chat, he began to worry. If a fight truly broke out, 2 warships against 4, they would be devastated. Boss, do we really have to fight Fenjia? Wen Zixi hesitated. A wise man wouldn't suffer a loss in the present. Even an apology wouldn't be a big deal. At most, there would be a chance for revenge later. Luo Chang, however, smirked. Don't worry, with Boss here, there won't be a fight. Wen Zixi wasn't as confident. Boss was indeed powerful and likely had reinforcements. He was worried that time wouldn't be enough if Fenjia attacked now. Don't worry, Luo Cheng smiled when he saw his friend's uneasiness. Trust a boss and you will have eternal life. Then, things took a very strange turn. Not only did Fenjia not attack, he also came to apologize. Chapter 254 Fenjia Apology. Aboard the Fenjia flagship, He Xingming hung up the video link and prepared to open fire. He was just about to discuss with the chief pilot how to teach Shen Yu a lesson when the warship's communicator chimed again. Is that from Shen Yu? He Xingming said arrogantly. No, I'm going to teach that idiot Yi Hongwen a lesson today. Fenjia's chief pilot, Yi Ningdong, said nervously. Captain, it's not from Shen Yu, it's from headquarters. What? He Xingming was shocked. They're so quick to complain. After secretly listing a few excuses, He Xingming finally persuaded Yi Ningdong to connect the video link. As soon as the link was connected, a young man with thick eyebrows and bright eyes, looking honest, appeared on the main screen. He was Gu Wang, the adjutant of the Azure Dragon Legion's captain. He Xingming composed himself and feigned seriousness, saying, Adjutant Gu, do you need me for something? Yes, there is something. Gu Wang gave him an ambiguous look. This fat guy must have been living a life of ease, overlooking something obvious and offending someone he shouldn't have. Adjutant Gu, He Xingming said with a flattering smile, is there anything I haven't done well enough? Gu Wang smiled, you've done a pretty good job, but the captain-in-chief asked me to tell you a few things. What is it? He Xingming had a bad feeling. Ahem. Ancient Emperor cleared his throat and repeated in a serious tone, the last incident in which the Fenjia fleet caused 2 deaths and 1 injury has not passed, and the punishment has not come down yet, but that old guy He Xingming is actually jumping around to find trouble with other fleets. Is he thinking his life is too comfortable? He Xingming hurriedly defended himself. I'm afraid the captain-in-chief has misunderstood. I just wanted to meet with Captain Yi of Shenaiyu for breakfast, but they used a kitchen knife to chop me and sent someone to throw me back from Shenaiyu, so I wanted to teach him a lesson. It is normal for an older captain to make things difficult for a less experienced captain. This can be regarded as an indirect lesson to the new captain. As long as no one is killed, it's fine. Really, the ancient emperor said with a half-smile. So Captain He is so willing to mentor the younger generation. It seems you'll need to find a few more people to train for you in the future. But I'm afraid you can't touch Shen Yu. Otherwise, not only will you lose your position as captain, but you'll also get into serious trouble. Facing the ancient emperor's smiling eyes, He Xingming felt a little intimidated and said humbly, I was wrong. I'll go apologize to Captain Yi right now and get them out of the space node. Is that okay? As you wish, the ancient emperor said, and hung up the phone. His goal accomplished, there was no need to waste time with He Xingming. After hanging up, He Xingming wiped the sweat from his forehead, the ancient emperor's words still lingering in his ears. He was puzzled as to how Shen Yu had found Adjutant Gu to intervene, and so promptly. However, this might also be a good thing for him. In his rage, he had forgotten that even though he had found a scapegoat, the military still didn't know if they would believe him, and the punishment hadn't been handed down yet. He Xingming glared fiercely at Zhu Pingting, who stood nearby. It was all this woman's fault. Otherwise, they would have completed their mission and returned home. And wouldn't have bothered Shen Yu here. Once this matter was resolved, he would make sure she was punished. Zhu Pingting shuddered at the glare and silently retreated to a corner. She dared not stir up trouble again. Yiningdong, contact Shen Yu's ship, he Xingming said irritably. Be nicer, it was the captain who was being rude, Yiningdong grumbled furiously in his mind, but he still obeyed and sent a communication request to the Shen Yu main ship. Meanwhile, Yi Hongwen and the others were enjoying breakfast in the captain's quarters. However, Lin Miaomiao, unable to sleep after returning to her room, remembered that she hadn't yet delivered the hospital meal she had prepared, so she rushed to the cockpit to look for someone. The privileges of the kitchen manager were once again on display. Ordinary members of the team weren't allowed to enter or leave the cockpit freely, but she had similar authority to the team leaders. Boss's breakfast is still the best. Luo Cheng slurped his noodles while looking at the lunchboxes in front of Yi Hongwen with envy. There were soups and vegetables, not to mention how comfortable it was. Lin Miaomiao said coldly, if you are envious, you can also get injured. As long as Dr. G says you need to recuperate, I promise to let you and the captain enjoy the same treatment. Haha, forget it, Luo Cheng grinned. It would be better for me not to touch the mecha for a month and to not have those few bites of food. Slurp boss. Fenji sent another communication request. Zhao Cheng reported vaguely, do you want to answer it? Yi Hongwen raised his eyebrows. Are you going to talk to them while holding noodles? Zhao Cheng frowned. When did he become so funny that he was ready to answer the video call without even putting down the noodles? He glanced at Luo Cheng who was still eating noodles next to him. He felt a little depressed. The old saying that those who keep bad company are bad people really makes sense. While Zhao Cheng was reflecting, Yi Hongwen had already quickly packed up breakfast and placed it in his space button. He said gravely, answer the video call. Zhao Cheng reflexively answered the call, leaving Yiningdong dumbfounded. Should he admire the dedication of the Shen Yu crew, or grieve over Fenji's perceived slight, as they brought a bowl of noodles to work? Fortunately, Zhao Cheng also realized his mistake and calmly handed the bowl to the co-pilot next to him. Xiao Yan, eating is more important. You should go finish your meal off and then come back to work. Yan Hangxun, inexplicably forced to eat a bowl of noodles, burst into tears. Brother Cheng, is it really okay to shift the blame like this? Captain Yi, what do you want to talk to us about? Zhao Cheng got right to the point. Yiningdong said, slightly embarrassed, our captain wants to talk to Captain Yi about something. It was a bit awkward to come back and apologize so soon after his harsh words, but fortunately, this outcome wasn't unacceptable. At least it was better than opening fire and killing each other. Our captain is busy right now, Zhao Cheng said in a boastful tone. How about you wait? Yiningdong glanced at Yi Hongwen, who was sitting upright on the screen talking to a woman, and couldn't help but complain in his heart, is he busy picking up girls? They're treating him like a fool. He Xingming, who was just trying to figure out how to apologize without losing face, also drooped his face. Were the people from Shenyu too much? They dared to lie to his face. And Yi Hongwen, it turned out he also had a crush on that girl. No wonder he reacted so violently. He had to endure the anger he had to endure. Since Yi Hongwen was unwilling to take the initiative, he had to take the initiative. At least before he found out the relationship between Shenyu and headquarters, he couldn't act rashly. He Xingming stepped forward and pushed Yiningdong away, forcing a hard smile and said, Captain Yi, can I delay you for a moment? Yi Hongwen raised his eyes and said slowly, Captain Yi, what's the matter? Didn't you say you were going to blow up my Shenyu flagship? Why haven't you started yet? Seeing such a fearless look, He Xingming felt even more apprehensive, and his smile became more sincere. It's a misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. I was just joking with Captain Yi just now. I'm here to apologize. Chapter 255 The Lion opens his mouth. Apologize? Yi Hongwen feigned surprise. Is there something wrong with my ears, or is there something wrong with your brain? Captain He Xingming wasn't angry. Instead, he felt it was right to apologize. Without his backing, how could Yi Hongwen dare to speak like that? Captain Yi, You're too kind, He Xingming said with a smile. People say rational things when they were angry, but we're all soldiers serving the Federation. How can we really kill each other? You're really quick at changing your face, Lin Miaomiao muttered. I don't know how you got that, I just can't. She practiced in front of the mirror thousands of times when no one was around, but her face remained the same stiff, her smile uglier than her cry. Yi Hongwen whispered to her, just practice more. You'll be able to do it when you're his age, Lin Miaomiao. It felt so far away. Was she going to have to live with this expressionless face for decades? Yi Hongwen had no idea what she was thinking. He still had to deal with He Xingming. Since he had threatened her but couldn't keep his promise, he had to find a way to make amends. Captain He, there's no need to apologize. A few words can't make up for the shock Miaomiao just had. Besides, our fleet's new recruits are too young and impatient. They were frightened when they heard that the Fengjia was going to blow up the Shanyu, Yi Hongwen said indifferently. Shouldn't you take some concrete action to compensate him? What compensation? He Xingming was dumbfounded. He was known for his aloof and unworldly image, so why would he ask for compensation so naturally? Lin Miaomiao found his dazed look annoying and couldn't help but wrinkle her nose. Are you stupid? Mental damage compensation is just credit points. There was no way to talk about this. He Xingming said to Yi Hongwen with a stiff face. You're just going to let her interrupt. Yi Hongwen's lips curled slightly. Isn't this just learning from Captain He? Besides, Miaomiao is the victim, so she has the right to speak. What a joke. Who would chop someone's arm with a kitchen knife? He Xingming had never met anyone more shameless than him. Today was a lesson for him. However, He Xingming still felt a heavy weight hanging over his head, threatening to fall at any moment. He dared not challenge someone with such backing. He could only swallow his anger and ask, so, how many credit points do you think would be appropriate? Yi Hongwen remained silent, turning to Lin Miaomiao and gesturing for an offer. Since he was seeking compensation for her emotional distress, the price had to satisfy her. Lin Miaomiao blinked. Emotional distress compensation was expensive, considering her current net worth. Asking for over $1 million wouldn't be unreasonable. So, she held up 5 fingers at He Xingming. 50,000 credit points. He Xingming breathed a sigh of relief. Not too far off. You're treating me like a beggar, Lin Miaomiao began to sneer. Because of the shock, I won't be in the mood to manage the restaurant and the Mecha Club for the next few days. Direct and indirect losses are reaching over $1 million every day. Without 5 million credit points, it's impossible. With a click, He Xingming turned off the video chat in shock. 5 million credit points? That was a threat to his life? Luo Cheng and the others stared at Lin Miaomiao as if they had seen a ghost. 5 million credits were enough to buy a few growable mechas or build a few gravity chambers, and she actually dared to ask for it? Is it too much? Lin Miaomiao was a little embarrassed. What if she scared him away? Who could she ask for money for the mental damage? Yi Hongwen shook his head. Considering your net worth, it's not much. In fact, you can ask for more, so that you won't be blind and dare to take advantage of anyone. Luo Cheng took a breath. If this was not a lot, then what was considered a lot? Could it be that the little cook's net worth exceeded 100 million? Little cook, are you really not looking for a live-in son-in-law? The kind who dares not go west if he goes east, Luo Cheng asked expectantly. Yi Hongwen's face darkened. Ah Cheng, we need to clean the kitchen today. Go help. Make sure everything is sparkling before lunch. Luo Cheng burst into tears. I was wrong, things like this should be asked behind the boss's back, rather than brazenly exposing them in public, or else they'll face retaliation. Lin Miaomiao silently glanced at Luo Cheng and said seriously, I'm making this clear for the last time. We won't accept a live-in son-in-law. Even if we do, we won't accept an idiot, especially one with a rough voice. Luo Cheng, taking 10,000 points of damage, pitifully crouched in a corner to soothe his wounded heart. Yi Hongwen's lips curled slightly, and just as he was about to stomp on him a few more times, Fengjia sent another communication request. This time, Zhao Cheng agreed without further questioning. Captain Yi, He Xingming's chubby face was filled with seriousness. Your compensation is too high. We're afraid we can't afford it. Lin Miaomiao also said seriously, it's okay. Bargaining is allowed. If the bargaining skills were too weak, there was nothing that could be done. He Xingming had no idea what she was thinking, and he breathed a sigh of relief when he heard it. The most we can compensate Yi Hongwen is 50,000 credit points. That's too little. 4 million, Lin Miaomiao said. No, 1 million, He Xingming continued to bargain. 3 million, Lin Miaomiao said with a dull face. It can't be any less, otherwise we will lose a lot of money. He Xingming gritted his teeth. No, we can't come up with that much. 1.5 million, are you done yet? Even if you bargain, there must be a limit, Lin Miaomiao said angrily. It must be 4 million, not less. Deal. He Xingming made the decision hastily, but then realized something was wrong. How did it become 4 million again? Shouldn't the next one be 2 million? Lin Miaomiao raised her chin. No one said that bargaining can only go down. He Xingming even wanted to commit suicide. After all this trouble, he was still trapped. He shouldn't have come to cause trouble today. Since the price has been agreed upon, Captain He, please transfer the credits as soon as possible. Yi Hongwen finally spoke. I hope to hear from you within 3 days, otherwise I'll have to contact your chief captain. This time, it was Yi Hongwen's turn to hang up the video call. The mental damage compensation had already been agreed upon, and he didn't want to bother with him anymore. He might as well return home as soon as possible. The Shenyu started up again, and this time the Fengjia warship automatically moved aside. Just one provocation had already incurred a debt of 4 million. If he continued to provoke, the consequences would be disastrous. Lin Miaomiao had seen enough of the show, and had tricked He Xingming again. Satisfied and finally feeling a little sleepy, she quietly walked out of the cockpit. Yi Hongwen saw her and quickly got up and followed her. Where are you going? Going back to sleep? Lin Miaomiao thought his question was nonsense. There was no danger, and there was no show to watch, so why would she stay in the cockpit? Oh, then let's sleep together, Yi Hongwen said naturally, joining her. Lin Miaomiao's ears turned red. Who wants to sleep with you? Do you have any shame? Do you want to learn from that fat piggy? Yi Hongwen was confused. He said they should go back to the dormitory together. Did she misunderstand something? Chapter 256 How to Spend the Huge Sum of Money. After several days and nights of travel, the Shenyu returned safely. During this time, He Xingming, with a look of pain on his face, transferred 4 million credits to Yi Hongwen's personal account. Why a personal account, rather than the Shenyu's public account? Because Yi Hongwen said, Miaomiao deserves most of this mental damages. I'll deduct her share first, and then transfer the rest to the public account. As for how the spoils would be divided, Lin Miaomiao, the victim, received 3 million, and the remaining 1 million was used as construction funding for the Shenyu. With these credits, the gravity chamber could be completed. This distribution method naturally caused dissatisfaction among some people. Why did Lin Miaomiao get 3 million alone, and the remaining 1 million was not shared with everyone, but confiscated to build the gravity chamber? It was so unfair. Yi Hongwen was too lazy to argue with them and suppressed them with one sentence. She was the one who was wrong this time, and she was the one who fought for so much compensation, so she can get the biggest share. If any of you are wrong next time, I will still let you fight for compensation on your own, and the distribution will be the same as today. Well, those who had opinions silently shut up. Not to mention whether there would be such an opportunity. Even if there was, no one would be so bold as to directly use a kitchen knife, let alone ask for 4 million in mental damages. Lin Miaomiao was a little surprised. She didn't expect that such a huge sum of money would be divided among her, but she had no intention of accepting it. I'm not short of money, but the fleet is relatively poor. I'd better use it for construction to avoid difficulty in recruiting next year. It was too hot to keep Fengjia's credit points in her hands. There were too many people who envied and hated her, which was not conducive to her future survival in Shenyu. If she was short of money, she would accept it, but in fact, she was really a small rich woman now. I'll take care of the fleet construction issues, you don't need to worry, Yi Hongwen said, somewhat touched. You don't have to compromise your own interests for me. Lin Miaomiao was embarrassed. Who was doing this for him? How could this guy be so shameless? It was clearly none of his business, but he insisted on praising himself. It made people want to beat him up. I think you misunderstood, Lin Miaomiao tried to explain. I don't want these credit points for your sake, but I'm afraid that if we have some problems getting along with everyone in the future, this matter will be brought up again. You don't have to explain. I understand. You're still holding a grudge about the past, Yi Hongwen said expressionlessly. It's okay. I won't let you down again. Lin Miaomiao was also drunk. Who taught him these words? Stand up, I promise I can't beat him to death. Regardless of whether the fight ended in a fight or not, since no one stood up, Lin Miaomiao hesitated for a long time before finally deciding to follow Yi Hongwen's lead and accept the credits. However, once she received them, she decided to spend them all on equipment to donate to the fleet, a way of earning some reputation by using other people's credits. However, what to buy was a real problem. 3 million credits sounded like a lot, but it wasn't enough for training equipment and the like. After racking her brains but still coming up empty-handed, Lin Miaomiao decided to gather her friends to come up with a solution. So, that evening, Lin Miaomiao cooked another feast, delivered the packed hospital meal to someone, and then invited her friends to come along. Liu Kaoyu and Yu Zixin were always the first to rush to eat something delicious. Once they were seated at the table, the other three hurried in. Liu Kaoyu's little nose twitched constantly, and she said with a look of intoxication, "It's a blessing to have Miaomiao around. I haven't had such delicious food in over a week." "That's right," Yu Zixin sighed. "It seems I have to speed up my training and join the mission sooner, so that I can follow Miaomiao wherever she goes." Lin Miaomiao frowned. "I thought you wanted to follow Ashen. Is that really okay with you?" Yu Zixin said proudly with his hands on his hips. "You don't understand this, do you? I follow you, and he follows me, so that we can both have delicious food at any time. A mean person succeeds," Lin Miaomiao concluded helplessly. "Miaomiao," Zhang Xingyan, who finally found the opportunity to speak, said affectionately, "I've heard about what happened these days. You've worked so hard. When I pass the level 4 exam, I'll protect you." "No need, I'm afraid you'll still need me to protect you then," Lin Miaomiao exposed the fact coldly and unreasonably. "What a cruel truth." Zhang Xingyan fainted under the table from crying. Liu Kaoyu kicked him and said, "Hey, are you still eating? Stop talking nonsense, or I'll beat you up. Hurry up and get up. Don't make my floor dirty with your tears, or I'll throw you out," Lin Miaomiao cruelly added. Zhang Xingyan swallowed his anger and stood up and sat down. He dared to say that if he continued to lie on the ground, Miaomiao would definitely throw him out. After finishing dinner in harmony and roughly clearing the table, the 6 of them continued to sit around the table to prepare for a meeting. The goal was to spend the huge compensation. I think that although the captain's words have suppressed those who are dissatisfied, they will still be unhappy. "It's better to use the money to buy something that the fleet can use," said Lin Miaomiao, the owner of the huge sum of money. "If anyone dares to be unhappy, I'll beat him up." Zhang Xingyan jumped up in righteous indignation. "It doesn't make sense that you, Miaomiao, shouldn't get some compensation for being frightened." "Sit down," Lin Miaomiao said angrily. "Do you understand what I mean? I told you to discuss how to spend the money, not whether you should spend it at all." Zhang Xingyan felt a little aggrieved. He had clearly been standing up for justice, but instead he was lectured. His heart sank. "Buy training equipment, or even use it to build a gravity room," Liu Kaoyu suggested. Lin Miaomiao shook her head. "Yi Hongwen refuses to accept credits for building the gravity room, so we can only buy things, but the training equipment is expensive, and the fleet is temporarily sufficient, so I think we should buy something that can be used now. We definitely don't need things like eating, sleeping, and entertainment. We eat well, live well, and have fun." Feng Licken analyzed carefully, "and the training equipment can't be used for the time being, so the only thing we can do is mecha." "What do you mean?" Liu Kaoyu asked a little confusedly. "You mean buying mecha? It seems that we can't buy many." She didn't think this was a good idea. There were so many people in the fleet, and there were many people who didn't have good mechas. It would be difficult to divide up a few new mechas. Zhu Chen smiled and said, "Kaoyu, you misunderstood. I think Licken wasn't suggesting buying mechas, but mecha parts." Feng Licken smiled and nodded. "Ashen, you're right. I'm talking about buying mecha parts, and the parts that are relatively scarce in our fleet." Lin Miaomiao understood. Both repairing and assembling mechas required parts, but Shen Yu's inventory was limited. Buying some scarce parts was a good option. "That's settled then. I'll go get my brother a list of out-of-stock items, and then I'll buy according to the list," Lin Miaomiao said. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257, Rich Girl Asks for Support. The meeting was over, but it was not yet 8 o'clock in the evening, so the few of them went to the training as usual. Taking advantage of the break in walking, Lin Miaomiao sent a video call to her father, informing him of her decision, which was also considered asking for permission from her parents. After all, it was a huge sum of money. Although it did not belong to her before, it belonged to her now, so she had to let her parents know. Lin Yuhei did not care about the 3 million credit points. What he cared about more was, why did you only ask that old man He Xingming for 4 million? It's really a loss. You should ask for at least 10 million, Liu Kaoyer and the others staggered and almost fell to the ground. They thought even 4 million was not enough. It was indeed the world of the rich that they did not understand. They continued to eat melon seeds and watch the show. I do want it, but I offered 5 million and he was so scared that he turned off the video call, and then came over to bargain. Lin Miaomiao was a little depressed. If I asked for 10 million, I guess he would have nodded and ran away immediately. Miaomiao, you are wrong. A smile appeared on Lin Yuhei's serious face. If it were anyone else, they would of course be scared away, but not the old man surnamed He. As the father of Feng Lang's first heir, he may be stingy, but he has a lot of credit points. Suddenly hearing such news, Lin Miaomiao was shocked. He is actually the father of Feng Lang's future heir. Then why did he run to the army? It would be better for him to lie at home and wait for death. Liu Kaoyer and others agree deeply. Why do rich people like to run to the army instead of enjoying themselves at home? He Xingming is an example, and so are Miaomiao and her eldest brother. This makes Liu Kaoyer, who is so carefree, envious and jealous. She can be a parasite, but why does she have to run in front of everyone to show her presence? The most frustrating thing was that while it was normal for He Xingming to be a level 6 mecha master at his age, Lin Miaomiao was already a level 4 mecha master at 18, and at 19, she'd already hit the level 4 mental bottleneck. How could ordinary people survive like this? Liu Kaoyer's distress was, of course, unknown to the Lins. Lin Yuhei was earnestly answering his daughter's question. That old man didn't have it so easy before. If his ex-wife hadn't raised him a good son, who had won the favor of Mr. He and became the heir to Feng Lang, he wouldn't have gotten his current position as captain. Oh, Lin Miaomiao said, her interest fading. It was simply a matter of father and son, and it had nothing to do with her. It was just a shame. If I'd known this was the case, I would have asked for 10 million, Lin Yuhei nodded in agreement, then, remembering what his daughter had reported, jokingly said, use that credit to buy mecha parts whenever you want. Buy them when you want, and you can get a discount. I see, Lin Miaomiao said, a flicker of silence in her eyes. Was it really okay to tease your own daughter like that? But then again, she was lucky to have such an open-minded father. After hanging up the video call, they happened to arrive at Chen Guang's door. Liu Kaoyer thought about buying mecha parts and asked, Miaomiao, are you going to spend money now? Lin Miaomiao shook her head. I haven't even asked my brother for a list yet. And I don't even know what parts the fleet needs. Okay, Liu Kaoyer said with a smile, then let's continue to conquer the gravity chamber. Yeah, let's go, Lin Miaomiao said, sending a text message to her big brother for help, sharing her plan. Before entering the gravity chamber, Lin Xianhao's video message came in, rich little sister needs help. My pocket money is a bit low lately. Lin Miaomiao blinked, go away. You have so much pocket money every month, how do you spend it all? I don't have any pocket money now, and the club hasn't even made any money yet. Ever since Chen Guang registered her account, Lin Yuhei had stopped giving her pocket money, saying that now that she had her own business, she didn't need it anymore and had to find a way to earn it herself. God knows, Chen Guang had almost no customers in its first month of opening. Even though Shen Yu's team members got membership cards at a 50% discount, they were still unable to make ends meet. Fortunately, He Guang later diverted members from the Mecha branch club on Shaoyin Star, and the income and expenditure were basically balanced. Chen Guang's current general manager, Wei Junayan, said that this situation was normal. Once everyone knew there was a high-end mecha club here, more people would come, and then they would be profitable. Lin Miaomiao didn't have high hopes. There were so many mecha clubs on Shaoyin Star, and Chen Guang was located in a remote area. It was estimated that few people came here specifically for training. She was already very satisfied with the current balance between income and expenditure. Don't try to be so mean, little sister. What does it matter if the club is not profitable? The monthly dividends from your restaurant are enough to support you for a year. Lin Miaomiao would not be fooled. You haven't answered my question yet. Where does your pocket money go? Lin Miaomiao got to the point. She knew her eldest brother got a 200,000 yuan allowance at the beginning of every month, and it only started this month. If you don't explain clearly, I won't support you. She didn't want her eldest brother to develop a habit of squandering money, believing that men with money would become bad. I told you to keep it a secret, Lin Miaomiao said shyly. Your future sister-in-law's birthday is in a few days, and I want to buy her a gift, but my savings aren't quite up to par. Lin Miaomiao was persuaded by her eldest brother. A birthday for his future sister-in-law was a big deal, so spending a little extra credit was reasonable. I'll transfer the money to you when I get back to the dorm tonight. I have to go into the gravity room for training now. As for the amount, Lin Miaomiao didn't specify, and Lin Miaomiao didn't ask. It's okay. We still have a few days to prepare. I'll go get you a list of the mecha parts the fleet needs, Lin Miaomiao said, contentedly ending the call. Let's go, Lin Miaomiao said to her friends who were standing aside waiting for her. We are a little late today. It seems we have to shorten the training time. It's okay to shorten the time today. We can make it up tomorrow, Liu Kaoyer said indifferently. I'm more curious, does your brother often ask you for pocket money? Yu Zixin nodded vigorously. He also wanted to know the answer to this question. After all, his childhood was spent under the shadow of Lin Miaomiao's other people's children. If this role model always asked his sister for pocket money, he would feel a little comforted. Yu Zixin had a beautiful dream, but Lin Miaomiao cruelly shattered his fantasy. How could such a proud man like my brother ask me for support so often? This is the first time. The reason is what you just heard, my future sister-in-law's birthday. Oh, that's not the answer I want. Yu Zixin covered his head in pain and shouted exaggeratedly, why doesn't he ask more often? This way he could tell his parents, the eldest brother of the Lin family you always talk about, who is a good student, armor-making expert, and mecha pilot, is actually a spendthrift who always asks his sister for money. Look, I never ask my sister for money. Of course, there was a reason why Yu Zixin didn't ask his sister for money. His sister was only 6 years old. Chapter 258 Sensation. Lin Miaomiao was efficient and quickly sent over the list. At the end, he offered a small suggestion, procure several level 5 mechas. The fleet was mostly composed of level 4 mech operators. While they trained diligently, their motivation was low due to the challenging environment. Yi Hongwen and the others tried various methods to boost morale, but to no avail. Later, while repairing their mechas, one of the team members confided in Lin Miaomiao that it wasn't that they didn't want to improve, but rather that the fleet was too poor to afford many level 5 mechas, and they couldn't afford to buy them themselves. An unarmed level 5 mech cost about 200,000 credits, while equipped with weapons, which was almost 300,000. These team members, whose families weren't well off, could only watch helplessly as the fleet allocated them. Without the fleet's control, they naturally had no incentive to upgrade. The fleet's mechas weren't tied to a one-to-one binding system. After upgrading a mech, the mech operator had to unbind it and return it to the fleet. If the fleet was transferred, the mechas had to be kept. Those from well-off families naturally disdained the offer, preferring to spend their own money on better mechas. However, people are easily influenced, and seeing others lack the motivation to train, they gradually became assimilated. This situation caused great headaches for the fleet's management. Yi Hongwen wanted to buy a few level 5 mechas out of his own pocket, but unfortunately, most of his savings were tied up in fleet construction, and he couldn't ask his family for money, so he had to give up. This time, Lin Miaomiao proposed using the compensation to buy mecha parts to donate to the fleet, and Lin Miaomiao thought of this problem. Lin Miaomiao was planning to spend the entire 3 million yuan anyway, so it didn't matter what she bought. Since her eldest brother had suggested it, she might as well buy it. Having made her decision, she halted her training, printed out the list, and called Wei Junayan back. She transferred the 3 million yuan directly to him. Prepare everything on the list. The total price shouldn't exceed 3 million. Wei Junayan took the list and looked at it. What price? Selling price or purchase price? Let's take 80% off the selling price. That shouldn't be lower than the purchase price, right? Lin Miaomiao asked. No, it's just that the profit won't be much, Wei Junayan replied. How many level 5 mechas should we prepare? Lin Miaomiao thought for a moment and said, 5 mechas, and get some extra parts. Okay, I'll prepare them now. They'll be ready before you get back, boss. Wei Junian took the list and left. As expected, before Lin Miaomiao finished her training and prepared to return to the base, Wei Junian delivered all the supplies, along with the list. Your club has quite a good inventory, Liu Kaoyer exclaimed. It took less than an hour to get it done. Miaomiao is about to make a fortune. In places that sell mechas, running out of stock is a big taboo. If a customer doesn't have what they want, business will be affected, Wei Junian explained with a smile. Valuable items like mechas can't be sent via Interstellar Express. If something goes wrong and they get lost along the way, the loss would be huge. Even if you buy a mecha online, the seller will deliver it to your door by hand. That seems to make sense, Liu Kaoyer said with a smile, narrowing her eyes. You're talking nonsense. Yu Zixin couldn't help but complain. If I came here excitedly to buy a mecha, only to find out it's out of stock, I would definitely buy it somewhere else. Liu Kaoyer was furious. Can't you just talk nicely? Seeing that the two were about to quarrel again, Lin Miaomiao quickly interrupted. We should go back. We're almost closing time. A war was instantly averted. Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief. After thanking Wei Junian, she led her friends back to the base. After returning to the dormitory, Lin Miaomiao transferred the promised credit points to her brother and sent him a message, asking him to pick up the mecha parts from the physical training ground the next morning. Upon learning that the parts weren't already at the base, Lin Xianhao was energized and insisted on coming to get them right away. Lin Miaomiao replied with a deadpan expression, I'm sleepy. See you at the physical training ground tomorrow. After that, Lin Miaomiao ignored the incessant beeping of her communicator, washed up, and fell asleep on her bed. Before physical training began the next day, Lin Xianhao was already waiting at the training ground. Seeing his sister arrive, he immediately rushed over. Where are my mecha parts? Lin Miaomiao frowned. I haven't given them away yet. They're still mine now. Okay, Lin Xianhao said with a cheeky smile. You're my sister, so what's yours is mine too? Oh, so that's how it works. Lin Miaomiao squinted at him. So if I find a boyfriend in the future, does that mean he'll also be your boyfriend? Lin Xianhao? Could they still have a good chat? Liu Yifei seized the opportunity to speak. Xianhao, it's rare for you to show up at the training grounds at this time. What mecha parts have you been looking for, stupid? You need parts to build and repair mechas. Lin Xianhao rolled his eyes at him. Of course I know that. Liu Yifei's face darkened. I'm just curious why you asked the little cook for them. Did you ask her to buy some rare parts? Lin Xianhao glanced at the eavesdropping team members and deliberately raised his voice. Hey, didn't my Miaomiao tell you yet? She spent all the compensation from Fenjia on a bunch of mecha parts and several level 5 mechas, intending to donate them to the fleet. Since they wanted to mitigate the impact, they had to spread the word, let everyone know, and appreciate the favor. The mecha parts were fine, but the level 5 mechas had caused a stir. Some of those who had lost power due to their mechas gathered around, asking about them, eager to get definitive information. Seeing this, Lin Miaomiao said bluntly, everyone, spread out a little. Leave some space. We'll know if we're really going to see it. Everyone quickly retreated, fearing she might change her mind if they left too late. With space now available, Lin Miaomiao began unloading the mecha parts and piling them on the ground. The mountain of parts made Lin Xianhao so happy he wanted to roll over on them. They were all the parts he needed. With a swish, the mecha parts were instantly loaded back into the space button. Lin Xianhao, contented with his possessions, ran off, unresponsive even to Liu Yifei's calls from behind. Lin Miaomiao didn't care, she just wanted to show everyone how she'd spent the money, so she pulled out all the level 5 mechas. As the 5 mechas of different colors appeared, everyone frantically crowded around to touch them. Several team leaders shouted, stop. Stand back. Don't crowd in. Otherwise, you'll all be forced to run 200,000 meters today, and we won't be running on treadmills, we'll all run outside around the lake, Liu Yifei added. Under the captain's forceful interference, the team members could only stand a few steps away from the mechas, watching helplessly. Liu Yifei breathed a sigh of relief and walked over to Lin Miaomiao, saying, Boss, you don't know about the mechas and parts, right? Lin Miaomiao shook her head innocently and said frankly, that money is hot to handle, but the captain said I deserved it and refused to take it back. I think it's best to handle it this way, Are you sure you really want to donate it? Liu Yifei reiterated. To him, 3 million meant a lifetime of food and clothing. If it were him, he would rather handle the heat than donate it. My brother took the parts away, so how could you be unsure? Lin Miaomiao glanced at some of the excited team members. Look how happy they are. With these mechas, I believe everyone will work hard. The fleet she was serving in couldn't always be trampled under the feet of others. As long as everyone worked hard, Shen Yu would surely soar. Chapter 259 Killing Each Other. Liu Yifei hesitated for a moment, finally swayed by Lin Miaomiao's promise. He prepared to seize the opportunity while the captain was away, acting without prior approval. But there are so many people who want a level 5 mech, and there are too many wolves for too little meat. Liu Yifei suddenly felt a toothache. Dividing these mechas was a bit difficult. Lin Miaomiao gritted her teeth. My brother is right. You're just stupid, a lot of stupid. Hey, little cook, how can you talk like that? Liu Yifei raged. I'm handsome, smart, and incredibly stupid. How could I be stupid? You're right, little cook, you're just an idiot. When Zixi sauntered over and casually touched the mech. It feels good. It makes me want to upgrade. He actually bought such a nice mech. What a big spender. You idiot. Explain yourself. Liu Yifei glared at him. A few scoldings from the little cook would have been fine, but this guy actually dared to take advantage of the situation. He must be looking for a fight. When Zixi didn't bother to deal with the idiot, he simply said to Lin Miaomiao, well, since you donated the mechas to the fleet, you'll be the one to announce how they'll be distributed. This was her chance to curry favor, Lin Miaomiao thought, but she didn't refuse. Everyone wants to be well liked and welcomed wherever they go, and she was no exception. She stepped forward, standing in front of the 5 mechas, and said, everyone, please be quiet. I have something to say about the distribution of the mechas. Everyone, regardless of whether they had opinions about the mechas or not, fell silent. Sheng Ruanan, always looking for trouble, tried to taunt her, but was silenced by someone familiar with her. Lin Miaomiao stood in front of the mechas, their towering size making her look petite. Liu Yifei, watching, suddenly had an idea. He opened his communicator, dialed Yi Hongwen's number, and turned the camera toward Lin Miaomiao. Regarding that compensation, I'm sure many people feel it's unfair and that I shouldn't take it. Lin Miaomiao went straight to the point as soon as she spoke. But what I want to say is that I have a clear conscience taking that money, because I used it to buy mecha parts and a level 5 mecha. I'm sure you all have seen the things, right? Of course we have. Whoever doesn't see it is blind, Zhang Keek said loudly. Yet, such a big guy can't see, so he must be blind. Everyone laughed. If anyone still holds on to that thing, send him to the hospital for treatment of his eyes. Lin Miaomiao nodded with satisfaction. Then this issue is over. Next, you must want to know how these 5 mechas should be distributed. Yeah, Miaomiao, just say it, Yuan Yan said. If I cling to you, can I get one? Go away. How could such a selfless person like the little chef let you cling to me? If I had to cling to you, I would have been the first to cling to you. Luo Chang blinked and acted cute. Miaomiao, will you let me cling to you? Liu Yifei, who was standing on the edge of the crowd, covered his face. The video call had been hung up. It was estimated that someone was about to be in trouble. Luo Cheng's cuteness was naturally ignored. Lin Miaomiao had already announced the answer. It's impossible to divide it by number of people. Then, whoever becomes a level 5 mecha master first will get it. This should be the fairest way, as long as whoever has the ability, he will be the final winner. Everyone was in an uproar. Whoever upgraded first would get it. They were using the mecha's bait, luring everyone forward. No one would refuse, because this wasn't just a level 5 mech, it was a trophy, a prize of honor. I've got to get one, Yu Hongbo declared, clenching his fist. Hey, didn't you say you didn't want a fleet-issued mech, and that you were going to have your family buy you a good one once you reached level 5? Bai Jin frowned, frowning. Why are you competing with us poor people? Yu Hongbo chuckled. You don't understand. The mech assigned and the mech one have different meanings. Besides, this mech is a new model from Wako, so it's absolutely top-notch. Then let's see who can get it, Bai Jin declared domineeringly. Let's see who's afraid of who. Yu Hongbo wasn't afraid of losing. The two exchanged glances, sparks flying, and their fighting spirit instantly surged to fever pitch. Not only the two of them, but everyone else was eager to fight. For the 5th level mecha and for the honor after victory, everyone took action. Some people had already taken the initiative to withdraw from the crowd and went to train. Lin Miaomiao's eyes flashed, and suddenly she said seductively, I see that everyone is so confident, why don't we add some chips? Becoming a level 5 mecha master is nothing, and these mechas are not the best. How about this? Within 10 years, whoever is the first to become a level 6 mecha master, I will give him a growable mecha. Now even the team leaders were excited, and Liu Yifei rushed in front of them. Little cook, are you serious? It's really growable, not an ordinary level 6 mecha. Lin Miaomiao took a few steps back, and said embarrassedly, don't be excited, let's talk it out. Emma, how can I not be excited? A growable mecha, I've dreamed of having one, Liu Yifei said dreamily. Now my dream is finally going to come true. Luo Cheng kicked him away, occupied the advantageous terrain, and sneered, you'd better continue dreaming, I'll take the growable mecha, go away, it's mine. Liu Yifei pounced on the person who dared to snatch things from him. Being attacked, not by someone who was trying to steal his prized possession, Luo Cheng wasn't about to give in. The two men actually engaged in a brawl in front of everyone. Fan Lei was overjoyed, muttering to himself, fight, fight. Kill one less, and there'll be one less person trying to steal the mecha. The two fighting were furious. They'd fought so hard, and yet someone else wanted to take advantage. Since they said every kill counts, why not just drag the sarcastic remarks into the fray? And so, Fan Lei was swept in. When Zixi, hunched in a corner, pounded the wall and laughed, then went off to do some intensive training alone, there could only be one winner, so don't blame him for lacking brotherhood. Lin Miaomiao, watching the entire process, frowned. Was this kind of cannibalism really okay? Was there anyone to intervene? Just as she was debating whether to leave or stay, several level 5 mechas around her vanished. Lin Miaomiao was heartbroken. Who dared to steal a mecha right in front of her? Turning around, she saw it was the captain. Let's go, don't watch them fight, Yi Hongwen said softly, it's a waste of time. After saying that, he took her little hand and pulled her out. Lin Miaomiao didn't react at first, but followed her for a few steps. When she woke up, she quickly broke free from her guard and said, where are you taking me? I still have to train. Yi Hongwen showed the space button on his finger. How about we talk about the 5 mechas in here and the mecha parts your brother took away? Lin Miaomiao was silent for a long time, and expressed her doubts very seriously. I think, in your space button, there should be 6 mechas, including the Black Lotus. It's not important. Yi Hongwen suddenly felt very upset. Why did the little cook always like to go off topic when talking about business? Chapter 260 Sandbags in the training room. The conversation ultimately failed to proceed. It wasn't because Yi Hongwen didn't want to, nor was it because Lin Miaomiao's ability to deflect was too amazing. It was because Gu Qingheng, long forgotten by everyone, came to visit. As the only deputy captain of the Shenyu fleet, Gu Qingheng should have had the final say. Unfortunately, due to his shallow foundation, he couldn't find any trusted personnel. A few days ago, during the mission to hunt down the remnants of the Phantom Crystal in the Kaya Star region, Gu Qingheng lost a wrestling match, thus losing a chance to compete fairly. Losers can't stand on equal footing. Fortunately, he lost because of the investigation team's defeat, and the Shenyu team members didn't notice anything unusual, simply thinking that the two captains had divided the work. After the mission returned, Gu Qingheng didn't proactively inquire about the mission's progress and results. Firstly, he didn't want to remind everyone that he couldn't even participate in the mission, and secondly, because the investigation team's report to the military had received follow-up feedback. It's so lively here, Gu Qingheng smiled gently. If I had known, I would have come here earlier to join in the fun. Lin Miaomiao curled her lips. The fun is not over yet, it's not too late now. Miaomiao, you're still here? Gu Qingheng looked at her gently and said, as long as you are here, how can I have time to watch the fun? Why does this sound a bit awkward? What do you mean you don't have time to watch the fun when she is around? Does he treat her as the fun? The more he thought about it, the more possible it seemed. Lin Miaomiao was unhappy. She said they were friends, so how could he treat her like this? She pouted and said, just watch the fun, why are you dragging me into this? Can we still be friends? Yi Hongwen, who was originally a little nervous, smiled silently. He had seen Miaomiao's slowness a long time ago. She would never think of pursuing him unless things were made clear. Secretly relieved, Yi Hongwen changed the subject without leaving a trace. King Heng, is there something you want to come here for today? Gu Qingheng would not be polite to him. If there is nothing wrong, then you can come. Or, I can't come here. Yi Hongwen raised an eyebrow. You worry too much. You are the deputy captain. How can there be a place in Shenyu that you can't go? That's good. I was worried that there was somewhere I couldn't come. Gu Qingheng's smile changed a little. Lin Miaomiao looked around and felt a little weird. What was going on with this feeling of bickering? She almost thought that Gu Qingheng had fallen for Yi Hongwen, so he ignored his childhood sweetheart. This feeling was not too good. Lin Miaomiao decisively decided to retreat. You guys chat slowly. I'm going to training first. The target that the two of them were fighting for was gone, so of course they couldn't argue anymore. Yi Hongwen turned around and was about to retreat, but Gu Qingheng remembered something important. The follow-up response from the military investigation team has arrived, Gu Qingheng said leisurely. There's good news and bad news. Do you want to hear it? Just say it if you have something to say, Yi Hongwen said, not wanting to waste time on him. It was a good thing the rivals didn't come to blows. Gu Qingheng snorted. With someone as impatient as you, how can you be a qualified captain? I'm really worried you might lead Shen Yu astray, Yi Hongwen sneered. If I'm not suitable, then what are you? If you're not satisfied, go complain to the military instead of whining here. With that, Yi Hongwen didn't want to wait for an answer any longer. He would rather spend his free time with Miaomiao, so he turned and walked over to someone punching a sandbag. Wait, something was wrong. When had sandbags been in the training room, and how could he, the captain, not know about it? Their opponent had fled mid-argument, and Gu Qingheng was furious, his chest aching. He wanted to leave, but he had something else to report, and besides, he wanted to join them. After hesitating for a long time, Gu Qingheng finally moved over. However, as soon as he walked in, he heard something that made his spine shiver. I remember the fleet didn't buy sandbags. Where did these come from? Yi Hongwen took a quick look and saw that there were more than 100 large sandbags on the training ground. Lin Miaomiao said in annoyance, my dad had someone send them here. He said that I should train well so that if I encounter any blind provocateurs in the future, I can just beat them up. She had to practice even if she didn't want to, because Lin Yuhe had said that she would have to take an assessment when she returned home at the end of the year. If she didn't pass the assessment, he would take her on a blind date and marry someone who was taciturn but skilled. It was said that he had even locked in a specific target. What era was it? There was still such a thing as a blind date. Besides, she was not even 20 years old yet, so why did she need to go on a blind date? It was really enough. Is it because of what happened a few days ago? Yi Hongwen asked. Not only that, Lin Miaomiao pouted. That scoundrel Lin Xianhao actually spilled the beans about my last drowning. These sandbags had been delivered when they left for the Kaya Star region, and Liu Yifei, adhering to the principle of enjoying the fun, had placed them all at the training grounds. Even more frustrating, perhaps wanting to warn his daughter's bullies, Lin Yuhe had the person who delivered the sandbags publicly announce the details, and then everyone knew that Lin's father wanted his daughter to go on a blind date. They returned to the fleet yesterday afternoon, so excited about completing a mission that they had completely forgotten about the gossip. It was only just now, when she was looking for a training ground, that Liu Kan'er hesitantly spilled the beans. Yi Hongwen was stunned. This was truly terrible news. He wondered if Lin's father had even learned the details of the drowning incident. It would be disastrous to leave a bad impression on the other parent before they even caught up with him. Feeling a chill in his heart, Yi Hongwen turned around and saw Gu Qingheng approaching. Suddenly, he had a perverse idea to scare off the enemy. Does your dad know why you and Shang Ruinen are at odds? He already knows. Lin Miaomiao stopped hitting the sandbag, turned her head and stared at Yi Hongwen with a strange expression. He told me to stay away from those who like to stir up trouble, especially those who have paranoid pursuers around them. I will pay attention. I will never let anyone bully you again. If anyone bullies you, beat them up as your dad says, Yi Hongwen promised seriously. Lin Miaomiao curled her lips. You stay away from me to protect me. Besides, when I have practiced boxing with a sandbag, I will beat up anyone who dares to provoke me. I will beat her so hard that she can't take care of herself. The smile that Gu Qingheng had finally put on not far away collapsed. He thought of Xiaoran who was always chasing after him. She was not a good-tempered person. She would take the initiative to provoke girls who were close to her. If she knew that he ran to Shenyu for Lin Miaomiao, she would probably make a big fuss. Miaomiao, once thought to have a good temper, actually had a short fuse. She'd resort to knife or fists when provoked. If they ever came to blows, they'd probably not stop until someone was crippled. Gu Qingheng was melancholy. While he had no romantic feelings for Xiaoran, he treated her like a younger sister and couldn't bear to see her hurt. As for why he assumed Xiaoran was the one hurt, the reason was simple. Xiaoran had a fiery temper and a fragile health. Even the best physique-boosting potions had little effect. She'd constantly fall ill, needing hospital stays for several days every year. How could she possibly defeat the healthy Lin Miaomiao? Chapter 261 Feedback from the military. Gu Qingheng watched Lin Miaomiao punching a punching bag while vowing to become the queen of boxing. He could almost see Xiaoran provoking him and being hospitalized. Needless to say, he felt a pang of despair. He simply stopped watching. After all, the incident hadn't happened yet, and no one knew what the future would hold. Perhaps Xiaoran would have forgotten him by the time she woke up. For the first time in his life, Gu Qingheng remembered playing the ostrich. He forced a rather awkward smile and called out to Yi Hongwen, "Captain, I have something important to report to you." "Should we go back to the captain's room?" Yi Hongwen turned around and said calmly, "Is this the military's feedback? Regardless of the outcome, these things aren't secrets. We can just talk it out here." Gu Qingheng frowned. This was about fleet construction funds. Was it really okay to just let it out like that? Never mind. The captain had requested it be made public, and if anything went wrong, he wouldn't be responsible. Having made up his mind, Gu Qingheng pulled out a document and handed it to Yi Hongwen. "The military said our fleet is indeed facing some difficulties, so they will increase Shen Yu's annual military budget from 10 million to 20 million. However, it has already been distributed this year and will not take effect until next year, only doubled." Yi Hongwen was not very satisfied with this result. Even the second-to-last Luojia fleet received 30 million in annual military funds. Their Shen Yu was being deprived of a huge amount. Don't think he didn't know how much the Ministry of Finance allocated to the Central Army Corps each year. "Double it is the limit of my efforts," Gu Qingheng said helplessly. He had been haggling with the military for days, and this was the only result he got. It was really embarrassing. Yi Hongwen glanced at him sideways and said sarcastically, "You are not as good as Miaomiao in this regard." "She stole 5 million directly from He Xingming," Gu Qingheng said indifferently. "Everyone has their own expertise. Miaomiao is better at making money. Let her take care of things like this in the future." Lin Miaomiao, who was hitting the sandbag hard and whose fists were red, was angry. She was just a bystander, why drag her into this? "Let's go back to your captain's room to talk about business. Don't stay here and get in the way," Lin Miaomiao threatened with a wooden face, "unless you want to try out the results of my training today." "Haha, isn't this topic too heavy? Just make a joke to ease it up." Gu Qingheng smiled like a spring breeze, incredibly gentle. "If Miaomiao doesn't like it, then I won't say anything." Yi Hongwen grabbed the red little claw and said with some heartache, "It's enough to practice for so long today. Let's practice again tomorrow, otherwise our fists will be swollen." "Foul. How dare you hold Miaomiao's hand like this? This is so unfair," Gu Qingheng shouted in his heart but didn't dare to say it out loud. He could only stare at the two hands, hoping that they would separate quickly. As if fulfilling his expectations, Lin Miaomiao quickly broke free, put her hands behind her back and said unhappily, "Just talk, don't touch me. I hate officers who take advantage of female team members the most." Gu Qingheng gloated, "Miaomiao is right, you dare to touch me in front of so many people. It's even worse when you do it behind their backs. You should take out a kitchen knife and chop off your hands." "I didn't do anything to anyone else." Yi Hongwen, who was accused, was not ashamed. "I just like holding your hand." Lin Miaomiao was a little worried. It should be a happy thing for the person who couldn't chase her to come back to chase her, but he was a little abnormal. Not only was he as shameless as behind a city wall, but he also had no taboos in his words. Could this be a trap dug by the enemy? Someone once said that she would never turn back until she hit the wall, and Lin Miaomiao agreed with this. However, she couldn't do it a second time after hitting the wall once. She must not fall into the ditch again because of his active kindness. If one day he returned to normal, wouldn't she hit the wall again? With her determination, Lin Miaomiao walked towards the treadmill silently. She didn't change her training method because of someone's advice, she just didn't want to stand with him. There were many team members who liked to use running to train their physical fitness. In addition, Everyone was motivated and trained very seriously. Yi Hongwen and the others couldn't go over to disturb them and had to withdraw. After the two left, the physical training room became lively. Everyone talked about military spending while exercising. Military spending has finally increased. Although the increase is not much, it won't be so tight. I wonder if the boss will buy more level 5 mechas, Bai Jin said with some anticipation. Yu Hongbo complained coldly, "You're overthinking it. The fleet needs so much money, how can we buy so many level 5 mechas? I can't just think about it casually." Bai Jin turned her head away unhappily. "I don't want to bother with unreasonable people like you. You just can't stand others doing well. Hey, I'm just stating the facts. How can it be unreasonable?" Yu Hongbo felt so wronged. "You can't say I shouldn't say it just because you don't want to hear it." Bai Jin rolled her eyes and said nothing. She is a very principled person. If she said she would ignore him, she would do it. Yu Hongbo, who got no response, couldn't help but sigh. "You just can't tell the truth these days." Xiao Zia covered her mouth and giggled. "You know you can't tell the truth, but you still say it. You can only blame yourself for being ignored. You can't even tell the truth. You think the fleet is run by your family?" Sheng Ruinan interrupted sarcastically. "You speak in a coquettish voice, and you are not afraid of disgusting bad people." Xiao Zia was stunned, then frowned and retorted, "What does it have to do with you how I speak? Mind your own business. I don't want to be nosy, but I can't stand you two bullying Hongbo." "What do you think of him?" Sheng Ruinan said righteously. "We are all teammates. You are going too far. You are going too far. Your whole family is going too far." Xiao Zia jumped off the treadmill, walked a few steps to Sheng Ruinan, put one hand on her waist, pointed at her nose and cursed, "Everyone knows about the bad things you did. Don't you feel guilty for coming here to act like an angel of justice?" Sheng Ruinan felt a little embarrassed. This newcomer was too disrespectful to the veteran team members. Unfortunately, she was not good at arguing, so she could only turn to Yu Hongbo and say, "I was scolded for speaking up for you, and you didn't even help me. I don't need your help," Yu Hongbo muttered to himself. But it was difficult to say it directly. He could only laugh dryly and change the subject. "Okay, let's stop joking here. Aren't you curious about what the deputy captain said just now that made Miaomiao dislike him?" Lin Miaomiao, who was running seriously, was stunned. What kind of bad luck had she had today? Not a single good thing happened, but she was dragged into all kinds of messes. Could it be that she went out the wrong way? Receiving the gossipy looks from everyone, Lin Miaomiao opened her mouth with a wooden face. Just when everyone thought she was going to speak, she yawned and continued to work hard on her exercise. Bai Jin was unwilling to accept this. It was too unpleasant to be unaware of gossip, so she asked more directly, "Miaomiao, what did the captain say to you just now?" Lin Miaomiao raised her eyes and glanced at her, and answered very seriously, "The captain said that those who only know gossip all day long and don't train hard, it's simply a daydream to want to win a level 5 mecha." Bai Jin felt depressed. How could they still have a good chat if he was spurring people like this? Chapter 262 Missing a Man. The days of hard training passed by quickly, and in the blink of an eye it was already November 11th, a very special day. Early in the morning, Lin Miaomiao was busy in the kitchen. "Your big brother is quite amazing. He was able to convince the captain to take a day off today just to celebrate Bai Jin's birthday," envied Liu Gadier, who followed into the kitchen under the slogan of studying. "I don't know when I will find such an amazing boyfriend." Yu Zixin, sitting in front of the chopping board with his legs crossed, leisurely eating grapes, shook his head and sighed. His innate conditions are too poor, and his acquired personality has been distorted. "I'm afraid it will be difficult." Yu Zixin, "Why don't you just die?" Liu Gadier, who was learning to knead dough, looked up. There were white marks on her wheat-colored face, and the black and white interweaving looked very funny. And Yu Zixin actually laughed, a wild, undisguised laugh. "Ha ha ha, are you learning how to knead dough, or are you putting on a face mask? It's all over your face." Liu Gadier was embarrassed. She took out the small mirror she carried with her and looked at herself. She couldn't help laughing at herself. "How come I can knead dough into little cat, but Licken's face is still so clean?" Licken, who was also seriously learning how to knead dough, said quietly, "There's a way to knead dough called, if it's dry, add water, if it's thin, add flour." Hearing this, Yu Zixin stretched his head to look into her basin. Wow, it was full of thin dough, almost overflowing. This time it was Liu Gadier's turn to laugh. Although her face was dirty, the dough was just right, neither too dry nor too wet. Lin was usually very smart, so how could she have ended up like this? Lin Miaomiao, who was frying eggs in a large pot, said coldly, although kneading dough is simple, some people are born without the talent to cook, and no matter how hard they try, they can't learn it. Fang Lin looked at the flour paste in the basin with a bitter look, and had to admit, I really don't have the talent to learn to cook. What should I do now? If you don't have it, don't learn it. Lin Miaomiao kept working, but raised her voice to the robot that was cleaning the salted egg shells. Chen Jiayu, help me pour Lin's bowl of batter into the dough mixer. Chen Jiayu ran over and took the bowl of flour paste away. Fang Lin breathed a sigh of relief and hurried to wash her hands. Liu Gaier, who had already cleaned up and returned to a clean state, stared at the fried eggs and drooled. Miaomiao, how many fried eggs can each person have today? There were too many people in the fleet, and frying eggs was a time-consuming process. Since no one had ever eaten fried eggs, Liu Gaier naturally hoped to have more. Unfortunately, Lin Miaomiao's answer was destined to disappoint her. There were too many people, so each person only got one fried egg, so I bought salted eggs. As for how she got her day off today, Lin Miaomiao felt a pang of anger, wanting to grab someone and give them a good beating. A few days ago, Lin Xianhao excitedly went to Yihongwen, hoping to use their brotherhood and his own pride to move his next day off to today, but he was ruthlessly rejected. After much persuasion, Liu Yifei hinted, it's easy to change it. Just ask your sister and she'll definitely get it. Although somewhat puzzled, the important task was still handed to Lin Miaomiao. Lin Miaomiao went to Yihongwen to plead for the deal, and he agreed quickly, but then he asked for a reward. She foolishly asked what reward it was, and was then grabbed and kissed. The kiss left her speechless. After being released, she didn't say a word. It wasn't that she didn't want to talk, but she didn't know what to say. She couldn't just slap him like the heroines in TV dramas, so she just ran back to the dormitory. The first kiss of two lives ended like this in the mouth of an iceberg. I didn't even feel anything. It's enough. She was feeling a mixture of emotions, and Liu Gaier pushed her. Miaomiao, why are you in a daze? I called you for a long time but you didn't respond, and you even burnt the eggs. How could this happen? Why didn't you remind me earlier? Lin Miaomiao hurriedly shoveled a few burnt eggs out of the pan, then looked at the black oil inside. This oil can't be used, it's all because of your daze. Liu Gaier rolled her eyes. I don't know what you were thinking about so intently just now, Fang Lin said faintly. Of course you're thinking about men. Lin Miaomiao felt a little guilty because she was thinking about men, so she shouted, are your noodles ready? I still have to make longevity noodles for my sister-in-law. Isn't it ready a long time ago? Yu Zixin threw down the empty fruit bowl and came over, exclaiming in surprise, you really miss men. You can't even cook properly, Lin Miaomiao said with a wooden face. Just say it if you miss men. Why are you dragging me into this? You don't want to eat breakfast. Yu Zixin curled his lips in dismay. It was normal for him to miss a man, wasn't it? After all, his future partner was a man. I finally got a day off, but yesterday I was suddenly sent on a mission. I don't know when I'll be back. Yu Zixin couldn't help but complain. Don't tell me I won't be back today. Don't worry, I'll be back. You might see it by breakfast, Lin Miaomiao soothed. She knew exactly what this so-called mission was for. If it was just a simple birthday party, her brother wouldn't ask her for time off, and Yihongwen wouldn't take the opportunity to offer such a frivolous reward. Something big was going to happen tonight. To keep it secret, those going on a mission wouldn't be told the truth until they were aboard the warship. Those not qualified for the mission were also not taken with them, even though they were so short-handed. Calculating the time, the Shenyu should be returning for dinner, so Lin Miaomiao quickened her pace to make the longevity noodles. The other members of the fleet all had their noodles rolled out by a machine, but Ren Jiao made hers herself, because the longevity noodles couldn't be broken in the middle. A machine couldn't make such a long, unbroken noodle. Lin Xianhao paid for all of Shen Yu's meals today. Even though it was just breakfast, Lin Miaomiao prepared a rich meal, with 4 different toppings for the noodles: braised beef, braised sparrows, braised pork intestines with pickled mustard greens, and fish balls with mushrooms. And then, except for the birthday boy, everyone else got a fried egg with 2 salted eggs, and a layer of minced pork and pickled beans. After everything was ready, Yu Zixin was about to go out to see if his husband had returned when he saw Zhu Chen walk in, his handsome face etched with fatigue. Ashen, you're back, Yu Zixin immediately jumped over and said with great distress. Is this mission difficult? Did you rest last night? Zhu Chen glanced at Lin Miaomiao, who was cutting vegetables nonchalantly. It was not easy to reveal the matter in front of her, so he smiled and said, It's okay. I've been busy all night and I'm a little hungry. Upon hearing this, Yu Zixin rushed back to the kitchen. I'll go get you some noodles. I just tasted it. The braised beef is delicious. You can have a bowl of this first. Dinner hadn't started yet, and several robots were tidying up the kitchen. Yu Zixin simply did it himself. Fortunately, Shen Jiayu was an intelligent robot. Seeing that Lin Miaomiao didn't say anything, he didn't step forward to stop him. Chapter 263 The Correct Way to Eat Longevity Noodles. When the cafeteria opened for lunch, Zhu Chen was already comfortably seated in the dining room, enjoying the beef noodles her boyfriend had prepared for her, topped with 2 fried eggs. Originally, each person got 1 fried egg, but Yu Zixin, knowing how much Lin Miaomiao had prepared, unceremoniously took an extra one. Liu Kan'er teased him mercilessly for this, but he didn't care. Lin Miaomiao didn't eat breakfast with her friends today. She and her brother, sister-in-law, and their family of 3 occupied a separate table for a family dinner. Unfortunately, just as they sat down, a certain scoundrel brazenly followed them and took a seat next to her. Lin Miaomiao suddenly felt a headache. One shouldn't get angry when happy, so Lin Miaomiao could only negotiate. Today is my sister-in-law's birthday. We want to get together as a family. Could you please make way and find a seat? Gu Qingheng, who was walking over with a tray of food, stopped in his tracks and hesitated for a moment before heading towards the table in the back. He didn't want to be the second person to be kicked out. Ye Hongwen said calmly, I'll accompany you to the gathering. We are all family anyway. Lin Xianhao opened his mouth wide. He didn't dare to say such shameless words. The boss actually said it so naturally. What was he trying to say? Captain, you really like to joke, Lin Miaomiao said expressionlessly. We don't have the same surname. How can we be a family? Wait until you marry me, Ye Hongwen said as a matter of course. If you weren't so young, our marriage could be put on the table. What marriage? You have actually developed to the point of discussing marriage. Lin Xianhao stood up in surprise. He couldn't even eat properly after receiving such earth-shattering news. Seeing that everyone in the restaurant was looking at him, Lin Miaomiao became anxious and whispered, Brother, sit down. Do you want everyone to laugh at us, but your marriage? Lin Xianhao felt a little aggrieved. Since his father was not around, he should at least tell him about Miaomiao's affairs. Such a big thing and you hid it from me, Lin Miaomiao said angrily. I don't know what's going on. How can I tell you? Lin Xianhao noticed something was wrong and hurriedly sat down and whispered, What's going on? I still want to know. Lin Miaomiao pouted. She didn't even have a boyfriend, so how could she be talking about marriage with someone? But this matter should be put aside for the time being. Let the birthday boy eat the noodles first, otherwise it will be a mess. We'll talk about it after today if there is anything else. There was an important matter today, and it couldn't be disrupted by inexplicable things. Let's not talk about kicking someone out. This person was too thick-skinned and it was impossible to kick him out. If you insisted on kicking him out, he might say something even more earth-shattering. The 4 people at the table finally started eating quietly. Seeing this, Gu Qingheng, who was sitting at the table behind them, was immediately filled with regret. They had agreed to send them away, so why were they still sitting together eating? And what was all that talk of marriage? At that moment, Gu Qingheng regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. If he had known it would turn out like this, he would have just followed them and saved himself from all the guessing and guessing now. If Gu Qingheng had been more thick-skinned, it would have been fine if he had carried his plate over now. Unfortunately, he felt that it would be too conspicuous to switch tables since he was already sitting down. So he could only stay where he was and continue eating breakfast, his ears straining to listen to the laughter and chatter from the table in front. Sister-in-law, this bowl of noodles is a whole noodle. You have to eat it all in one go. Don't bite it off in the middle, otherwise it will be unlucky, Lin Miaomiao warned. 3 fried eggs are not a big deal. No way. What if I can't finish it? Ren Jiaojiao looked troubled. Such a big bowl of noodles, but there was only one noodle. She had to eat it all in one go without biting it off. It seemed so difficult. Could she ask for a smaller bowl? There's no small bowl. I only made this, up, one bowl, Lin Miaomiao said calmly. If you can't finish it, You can have my brother help you with the other end. Don't bite it off, and you two can eat it together, so it's fine. Lin Miaomiao blushed instantly. How could there be such a way to eat noodles? Miaomiao couldn't have done it on purpose. It would be embarrassing to eat like this in front of everyone. That's a good idea. I'll help you. Lin Miaomiao's eyes lit up in surprise, and he reached out to move the bowl in front of Lin Miaomiao closer. With a click, Lin Miaomiao slapped his hand away without hesitation, her face flushing. No need for your help, I can finish it already. With that, she picked up the noodles from the bowl and began to eat them, moving quickly as if she was afraid someone would snatch them from her. However, Lin Miaomiao had deliberately made this noodle much longer. Lin Miaomiao couldn't hold on for a long time, but she still had more than half a bowl of noodles left. She was so anxious that beads of sweat formed on her face. Are you tired, sister-in-law? Lin Miaomiao asked with feigned concern, then turned and winked at her eldest brother. Brother, hurry up and help. We can't let those longevity noodles break, or all my hard work this morning will be wasted. Okay, I got it. Lin Miaomiao immediately leaned over, quickly finding the other end of the longevity noodles and putting it in his mouth, then diligently sucking the noodles. With Lin Miaomiao's dedicated help, the noodles quickly shrank, until the distance between them was less than 10 centimeters. Lin Miaomiao blushed so much that blood was dripping from her cheeks. She wanted to stop eating, but she didn't, as she was told it was unlucky. Lin Miaomiao stopped, but Lin Miaomiao didn't. He simply slowed down and slowly approached the beautiful woman until they were zero distance apart. Okay, cheers erupted in the quiet restaurant, and someone even shouted, "Give me something hotter, Lin Miaomiao, you can't be such a coward. You don't know how to seize the opportunity when eating the same noodle." Feeling teased, Lin Miaomiao hurriedly pushed Lin Miaomiao away. After pushing him away, she glared at him fiercely and said coquettishly, "What are you doing? Doing this in front of so many people? I don't want to." Lin Miaomiao said innocently, "I'm just worried that you can't finish your food, so I'm saving you. I don't want to bother with you. I still have fried eggs to finish." Lin Miaomiao shyly buried her head in her food. After breakfast, Lin Miaomiao pulled Lin Miaomiao away, saying that he was taking her out to play for a while this morning and spend some time alone. Lin Miaomiao waved the plate to see her off. After a full meal, Lin Miaomiao headed straight for the Shenyu, docked at the ship's landing gate. She headed to the ship's kitchen to prepare something and hand over all the laundry to the robots. The evening's banquet was scheduled to take place aboard the Shenyu. A news menu knew, though only a few, including the birthday boy, were still in the dark. As she left the mess hall, Lin Miaomiao noticed a tail beside her. With a sullen expression, he asked, "Why didn't you make longevity noodles for your birthday?" Lin Miaomiao frowned. "Making longevity noodles for others is a sign of blessing. I can't just wish it for myself, right? Besides, even if I did, it wouldn't have anything to do with you." "What do you mean by nothing to do with you? I could help with the noodles, just like your brother does," Yi Hongwen said, a touch envious. That way of eating longevity noodles was truly beautiful. Lin Miaomiao was speechless. At the time, she was so upset she wouldn't even call him. How could she possibly share noodles with him, even if things had calmed down a bit now? "Go away. I have nothing to do with you. Don't try to take advantage of me," Lin Miaomiao glared at him fiercely. However, it was of no use. Yi Hongwen pretended not to hear and made a request. "My birthday is in 2 months, and I want to eat longevity noodles then, too." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264 Robot War. Lin Miaomiao didn't bother to talk to Yi Hongwen, still angry about a forced kiss. She headed for the docking station. She had to board the Shenyu to make some preparations and see the venue her brother had set up. She had also brought Lolita aboard to help with the dinner preparations. She had already handed lunch over to number 1, as the dinner was early anyway, so whatever she wanted would be fine. Once aboard the Shenyu, Lin Miaomiao's eyes were stung by the vibrant red. The walls and floors were painted a vibrant crimson. The ceiling was festooned with colorful artificial flowers, and several crimson mechas lined the hallways. "Brother, you've got such unique taste," Lin Miaomiao marveled. Yi Hongwen, following behind, said, "They say this is festive and auspicious, and that it helps your wishes come true. That's a bit too auspicious," Lin Miaomiao pouted. The blood-red color was unsettling, and she wondered if it would frighten the faint of heart. "But your brother likes it," Yi Hongwen said, somewhat helplessly. He also thought it was too red and suggested a more subdued color to make it look less off-putting, but his suggestion was rejected outright. Lin Miaomiao was speechless. Never mind. Since her brother liked it, then so be it. She was only responsible for the kitchen, anyway. She hadn't had to come so early for the afternoon banquet, but she needed to get the ingredients up there for the robots to wash and cut. She also needed to bring some dishes and other items from the station kitchen warehouse, as the ship was running low on supplies. Entering the kitchen, Lin Miaomiao noticed a tail still following her, and felt a little uncomfortable. "Captain, are you very free?" Yi Hongwen nodded. "It's vacation, so of course I have nothing to do, but weren't you busy during your last break too?" Lin Miaomiao questioned. "That's because the deputy captain wasn't here," Yi Hongwen said, his lips curled up slightly. Now that he had a deputy captain, he didn't have to do the little things himself. Lin Miaomiao curled her lips, unhappily saying, "Kinkyu is truly pitiful, having to deal with such an unreliable commander like you, and yet they push all the work onto him." Yi Hongwen was also displeased. How could Gu Qinghang be pitiful? The more he did, the better and faster he would integrate into the fleet. Technically, he was getting a huge advantage. Lin Miaomiao denied Yi Hongwen's thoughts. She was busy sorting and putting away the ingredients. As for how to handle special ingredients, Lolly would teach the robots how to handle them. However, Shen Jiayu was only a low-level intelligent robot, and his intelligence center was struggling. After a long period of instruction, his progress was a bit slow. Lolly became impatient. "You're a bit too stupid, aren't you? Is your intelligence center aging? I think it's time to format it and clean it out." Shen Jiayu was a slow learner, but he applied what he learned with great skill. As the warship's chef and cleaning robot, he interacted with many people and knew that stupid was an insult, and he immediately became unhappy. "You're the dumb one, and your whole family is dumb," Chen Jiayu scolded. "You're so young, yet you don't know how to respect the elderly. You're wearing all sorts of fancy clothes, and you look like a bad student. You really should be sent back for retraining." Lolita is lively, a bit like a teenage girl, and loves to dress up. When she has nothing to do, she pesters Lin Miaomiao to buy her new clothes and accessories. She wears something different every day, which is a bright spot in Shenyu, where everyone wears military uniforms. Today, she's wearing a colorful, sleeveless gauze dress with small floral patterns, and her hair is tied into a playful, sideways ponytail. She looks pure and beautiful, and if it weren't for the robot symbol on her forehead, she would look just like a human. When Lolly heard that today was the big day of her master's brother, she dressed up beautifully, but was criticized by Shen Jiayu as worthless. She was immediately resentful. "You old thing, both your vision and brain are problematic. Look at your chubby appearance, you really make us intelligent robots lose face." Shen Jiayu jumped up and down. "You are talking nonsense. Our intelligent robots exist to better serve humans. You are just busy dressing up all day instead of thinking about how to do things better. It's a waste of electricity. My master likes to see me dressed up beautifully. Do you have any objections?" Lolly put her hands on her hips and made a teapot posture. "Besides, with your IQ, you still want to compete with me in work efficiency. I can kill you in minutes." Shen Jiayu was just a low-level intelligent robot, cheap, and its appearance was only a little better than that of a stupid robot. He was hot in the sore spot and got furious. "Talking is useless. Let's have a show." With that, the cylindrical robot slung at the little girl. The little girl, a super bodyguard after all, wasn't afraid of a fight and immediately engaged without hesitation. Luckily, they were intelligent robots and knew not to use weapons, so they fought barehanded. Even so, they still managed to break a lot of things in the kitchen. The two people in the freezer heard a burst of intense clattering and rushed out to investigate. They were stunned. The kitchen was a mess, with many dishes shattered, yet the two robots were still fighting. Lin Miaomiao felt a little dizzy. It was truly amazing that robots would fight without their master's orders. "If you don't want to be sent to be formatted, stop," Yi Hongwen radiated a chill. Lin Miaomiao quietly moved away from the source of the cold air. "Cherish your life, stay away from the iceberg that was about to erupt." This was the wisest choice. The two grappling robots were also intimidated by the iceberg. They stopped fighting and stood in a row, staring intently at Ji Hongwen, almost shouting, "Captain, spare me, 4 robots, formatting is tantamount to killing them, as their original memories are gone, replaced by a blank slate." "Why did they fight?" Yi Hongwen asked gravely. Lolly rushed to complain, "This stupid cylindrical intelligence center is no good. It can't learn what I've been teaching it for a long time. It doesn't even take a few words to scold it, and it even attacks me for wearing too fancy clothes. It said I'm too ugly, and my intelligence center is too slow, so I can't serve everyone well," Shen Jiayu said, feeling aggrieved. It wasn't like it could choose its appearance. Lin Miaomiao was already laughing at this. It turned out that robots all had a competitive mentality, and they would actually fight and scold each other over such a trivial matter. It was really strange. Heartbroken, Lolly couldn't resist the icy aura. "Master Miaomiao, stop daydreaming. Please save this capable robot. If it gets formatted, there won't be a bodyguard as clever as me anymore." Lin Miaomiao didn't respond immediately. Instead, she smiled enough inwardly before saying sternly, "Today is my brother's big day. Lolly, have you forgotten? If you mess up tonight's dinner, I won't forgive you." Lolly's intelligence center paused for a few seconds, analyzing the meaning of her master's words. It was upset. Being slapped in the face in front of the other robots, it almost wanted to hang itself. Woo, Master Miaomiao doesn't love me anymore," Lolly said, a white silk thread appearing on her hand. "There's no point in living anymore. I'd rather die." "Wait," Lin Miaomiao said, gently caressing her frightened little heart. "Clean up the kitchen first, then teach me everything I need to know. After that, I won't stop you even if you want to kill yourself 1,000 times. She really wanted to see how a robot committed suicide. Could it be jumping off a building like a human? The Lolly pouts and retreats, then obediently goes to clean up the kitchen. Chapter 265 Dinner Preparations. As the saying goes, no fight, no friendship. After their fight, Luo Li and Shen Jiayu quickly became familiar with each other and soon became close friends, as if they hadn't been the ones fighting. Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief. If they had continued to fight, she would have had to send Luo Li back to the base and replace her with someone else. However, while they had easily reconciled, the broken items in the kitchen were nowhere to be found. Lin Miaomiao had to have them personally count the quantity and prepare to bring some back from the base warehouse later. Because there were so many people, and the tables and chairs on the ship were rectangular and fixed to the floor, replacing them with round tables would be a major undertaking, so the evening banquet was decided to be a buffet. Looking at the equally red dining room, Lin Miaomiao sighed. Such a venue didn't seem very suitable for a buffet, and the evening's video recording probably wouldn't be very good. "Are you going to disembark later?" Yi Hongwen interrupted her sigh. "Not necessarily," Lin Miaomiao replied listlessly. "There's food on board anyway, and there's nothing to do down there, so I'm too lazy to go." Yi Hongwen was surprised. "What about the pots and pans that need repairing? Will they fly up automatically if you don't go down?" Lin Miaomiao gritted her teeth. "Let Lolly go. There's no reason for me to clean up the mess she's made." This made so much sense that it left Yi Hongwen speechless. As expected, Lin Miaomiao didn't leave the ship for lunch. She just cooked 2 dishes and ate them. Yi Hongwen, under the pretext that she was responsible for his hospital meal, shamelessly stayed. He had hoped that their time together could bring them closer, but unfortunately, something unexpected happened. Gu Qingheng, who was busy at the base, came over with a pretext of coming aboard for a tour. "I heard it's been newly decorated." Yi Hongwen was not happy, but Lin Miaomiao welcomed it. She was hoping for someone to join in the fun, so their time together turned into a threesome, and someone was so angry that he almost suffered internal injuries. After lunch, Lin Miaomiao left the 2 men fighting and went up to the 3rd floor for an hour-long nap. She woke up and got back to work, refreshed and ready. Dinner was the highlight of the day, and Lin Xianhao had repeatedly urged her to treat it with care. She treated it with the utmost care, not only roasting suckling pig, but also roasting whole lamb and other roasted meats, all sliced to perfection. The portions weren't large, but the variety was impressive. There were sweet and sour spare ribs, steamed pork with rice flour, braised pork with preserved vegetables, pickled pepper chicken feet, spicy chicken wings, steamed yellow croaker, stir-fried beef, husband and wife lung slices, spicy rabbit head, and more. Over 30 dishes in total. She also bought a large jar and made a bowl of boda jumps over the wall. Since there weren't separate tables, it was cheaper to just use the large jar. The menu was rich, and snacks and pastries were essential. She made pumpkin pancakes, mung bean cakes, osmanthus rice cakes, taro and sweet potato balls, egg pancakes, thousand-layer cakes, and chive dumplings, among a dozen other dishes. The fleet was full of mecha pilots, and alcohol wasn't allowed. Lin Miaomiao prepared a variety of freshly squeezed juices, plum juice, and mint water. Then bought some herbal tea and apple cider vinegar. While shopping for herbal tea on StarNet, Lin Miaomiao heard a piece of news from the staff, which was quite amusing. It was said that someone had found a tin herbal tea can in the ruins of a building thousands of years old. The writing on it was so worn that the brand name was obscured, but the label stated it was a well-known herbal tea. Herbal tea manufacturers, on the other hand, caught wind of the situation. One day, one herbal tea company claimed its tea was the direct descendant of a well-known herbal tea from thousands of years ago. The next day, another company jumped out, accusing the other company of misrepresenting their ancestry and presenting reams of evidence to prove its claim, claiming, "We are the one with the herbal tea recipe that has been passed down for thousands of years." The third day was even more exciting. One company changed its name to Kaoxiayu Herbal Tea. Lin Miaomiao was stunned by the waiter's earnest recommendation of the Kaoxiayu Herbal Tea, a tea with a millennia-old recipe. She hadn't even realized there was a herbal tea called Kaoxiayu thousands of years ago. Fortunately, the tea from the vendor who changed their name tasted quite good, so Lin Miaomiao readily bought a few. With everything ready and the time approaching 4:40 p.m., Lolita and Chen Jiujiu cleaned the restaurant once again, ensuring it was spotless. Lin Miaomiao felt a little uncomfortable looking at the restaurant, which was still ablaze with red. No matter how clean it was, it would be so bloody red that it would ruin her mood. Just then, Lin Xianhao video called to confirm the banquet preparations. Lin Miaomiao scolded him profusely, questioning his taste. Lin Xianhao was anxious. "Is it really so ugly? Then why didn't you say it earlier? It's not too late to change it now. Who made you have such bad taste?" Lin Miaomiao snorted, "I didn't even bother to tell you, lest you think I was deliberately finding fault. If you think it's ugly, then your sister-in-law will definitely not like it even more." "What should I do now?" Lin Xianhao was so anxious that he was running around in circles. What if Jiao thought he had bad taste and refused to agree to his proposal? Lin Miaomiao said coldly, "It's really possible. With such bad taste, you two must not have much in common." Lin Xianhao's face darkened. This was actually his own sister, and she couldn't expect anything good from him. Seeing his eldest brother on the verge of hanging up the video call from being bullied, Lin Miaomiao finally kindly offered a solution. "Let's use the scene converter in your room. It shouldn't take long to disassemble and assemble, but that's just a small indoor converter." "The Shenyu is so big, how can it be big enough?" Lin Xianhao fumed. "Now it's too late to buy a bigger one." What Lin Xianhao didn't mention was that not only was he running out of time, but he was also running low on credit points. His allowance, plus the 1 million yuan his sister had helped him with, had been spent yesterday alone. Fortunately, he had a wealthy sister who didn't even ask for money for today's food, otherwise, he would have had to sign an IOU. "The restaurant is the main venue, so just change the style of the restaurant," Lin Miaomiao replied. "Sometimes contrast can create beauty." The battleship was so spacious that any scene converter would have to be custom-made, which was both time-consuming and expensive. Buying one just for a banquet wasn't worth it. Otherwise, Lin Xianhao wouldn't have taken the trouble to paint the entire ship. The matter was settled. Lin Xianhao hung up the video call and returned to his dorm to dismantle the converter. Lin Miaomiao set up a few large tables in the corner of the dining room, covered them with elegant tablecloths, and directed several robots to arrange the dishes, snacks, and drinks in their respective categories. Several large disinfection cabinets were placed next to the long tables, filled with bowls, plates, chopsticks, and other utensils for the buffet. With everything ready, Lin Xianhao hurried over, not even bothering to greet anyone before rushing into the kitchen and tinkering with the scene converter on the inside of the door. Lin Miaomiao approached and asked curiously, "Brother, can you install this?" Lin Xianhao said proudly, "I can even assemble a mecha, let alone these simple scene converters." "Just watch, it won't take long." Lin Miaomiao pouted, "Why don't you just say you can make a converter too?" Lin Miaomiao hesitated, he really couldn't do it. Chapter 266, a hard-earned proposal. Even with its simplicity, installing the scene converter took nearly 10 minutes. Seeing that there was no time to choose a scene, Lin Miaomiao had to hand it over to his sister and hurried off the ship to pick up his beloved. Lin Miaomiao didn't give him a hard time. Today was a very important day for her big brother, and as a younger sister, she naturally wanted to help him. Before everyone else arrived, Lin Miaomiao began selecting a scene. Dark colors were naturally eliminated, and without time to carefully select, she settled on a seascape. The surrounding walls transformed into a cerulean sea, while beneath them lay a golden sandy beach, dotted with colorful flowers. The long white tables were covered with elegant tablecloths. The transformation was quite romantic and beautiful, and Lin Miaomiao nodded in satisfaction. Just then, a commotion could be heard from outside. Lin Miaomiao, is this your surprise for me? Ren Jiaojiao was aggrieved. With so much blood everywhere, she felt no surprise, but rather a bit frightened. And those colorful fake flowers, which were obviously made of paper. Although they were made of high-end paper with a scent, it couldn't hide the nature of paper flowers. After questioning for a long time without any response, not even a word of comfort, Ren Jiaojiao was fed up. I want to get off the ship. I won't attend this crappy dinner. Ren Jiaojiao turned to leave. Lin Miaomiao hurriedly pulled her and said with a smile, Jiaojiao, don't be angry. Miaomiao has been busy all afternoon. How can you bear to leave like this? Ren Jiaojiao hesitated for a moment, gritted her teeth and said, forget it. For Miaomiao's sake, I accept it. Lin Miaomiao wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and led her into the restaurant attentively. Then Ren Jiaojiao's eyes lit up. Wow, why is the restaurant not blood red? It's by the sea, so beautiful. Lin Miaomiao walked over leisurely. Welcome to the Golden Sea, future sister-in-law. Please sit in the middle. There was a table in the middle of the restaurant with a tablecloth that was different from others. It was a light blue tablecloth with only 2 red hearts pierced by an arrow painted on it. Ren Jiaojiao blushed when she saw the table, but she didn't say no in a pretentious way. Instead, she took a step forward generously. Such a cheerful and unpretentious personality is really nice. Lin Miaomiao suddenly felt that her elder brother had picked up a treasure, so she couldn't help but look at him, just in time to see him giving her a thumbs up. Lin Miaomiao smiled silently and watched him run to the middle. Jiaojiao, Lin Miaomiao chuckled, are you surprised now? Surprised? Ren Jiaojiao nodded, but I can guarantee that the scene here is definitely not something you can choose. Lin Miaomiao suffered 10,000 points of damage, and she was still questioning his vision, but he really didn't dare to deny it. He could only touch his nose and explain awkwardly, although I didn't choose the scene, I installed the converter myself. Even if I don't have any credit, I have worked hard. Well, this point is indeed good. Ren Jiaojiao said it was even and forgave him for the scare he gave her at the beginning. Okay, let's get the party started. I didn't eat much for lunch and I'm a little hungry. Ren Jiaojiao patted her stomach, her eyes already darting to the delicious food displayed against the wall. She wasn't the only one. Many of the team members were drooling over the corners. They hadn't seen so much delicious food in ages, and upon hearing the birthday party's main character's words, they all scurried towards the wall. Wait, Lin Miaomiao hurriedly intervened. I still have something to say. If you have something to say, hurry up and say it, Ren Jiaojiao said impatiently. It won't take long, Lin Miaomiao said with a grin. He then pulled a bouquet of vibrant red roses from his space button, knelt on one knee, and offered the roses with both hands. Jiaojiao, please marry me. Ren Jiaojiao was stunned. She'd thought it was just a simple birthday party, but what had suddenly happened? Yes. Yes. Yes, the crowd began to cheer. Jiaojiao, please say yes. I'm still waiting for the buffet, Yu Hongbo shouted. Bai Jin, however, objected. I can't agree to this. Without even a ring, it's too insincere. Even if I had to go hungry, I wouldn't agree to this. Everyone suddenly realized, right? A proposal requires a ring, right? Without one, it was unbelievable. I can't agree to this. It's not sincere at all. Who said there's no ring? Lin Miaomiao blushed. I was just too nervous and forgot to take it out. He then pulled a large red velvet box from his space button, opened it, and presented it to Ren Jiaojiao. Jiaojiao, marry me, everyone gasped when they saw the ring inside. It was a large, hexagonal, Light blue diamond ring. Amazingly, a tiny red bird nestled within the diamond. Phoenix Yuffie, am I seeing things? Bai Jin muttered to herself. Someone tell me I'm not dreaming. Yu Hongbo reached out and pinched her cheek. It felt smooth and tender, and she smiled to herself. What are you doing? How dare you pinch me? Bai Jin exploded. I'm dying to help you. I'm just helping you verify the authenticity of the flowers, Yu Hongbo said, feigning indignation. You're so ungrateful. Bai Jin wanted to go up and grab the flowers off his face, but due to the wrong occasion, she could only endure it. Although she couldn't use force, she could still stay away from him. With this in mind, Bai Jin silently moved towards Lin Miaomiao, the captain beside her. Yu Hongbo wouldn't dare to act rashly if she passed by. At this moment, Ren Jiaojiao finally came to her senses, took the flowers, and said shyly, for Feng Huang Yufei's sake, I promise you. Oh, great, the crowd cheered, their voices pounding. For something this happy, a kiss is a must. A kiss? Lin Xianhao placed a ring on Ren Jiaojiao's finger and said with a smile, Jiaojiao, they're also welcoming. How about? Ren Jiaojiao's eyes widened. Go away. If you dare do that, I'll give you the ring back. No need for that, Lin Xianhao said with a bitter face. It's over, Liu Yifei teased, you're going to be dominated by your wife. Do I need to ask you to come with me when I go to the bar to find girls? What? You're going to the bar to find girls? Ren Jiaojiao's face turned pale with anger. No, he wronged me, Lin Xianhao said anxiously. Liu Yifei, you can't stand me getting along well, can you? Lin Miaomiao saw that something was wrong and was afraid that it would affect the start of the banquet, so she hurriedly said, Sister-in-law, you misunderstood. How can you believe what Captain Liu said? Let's get started quickly. The food is getting cold, Lin Xianhao quickly agreed. That's right, you can't believe what he said. Let's have the banquet. Tonight is your birthday and our engagement party. Ren Jiaojiao thought about it and agreed, so she nodded. Okay, then let's have the banquet first. We'll talk about this later. If I find out that you lied to me, you're dead. No problem, Lin Xianhao promised hurriedly. If I do anything to let you down, you can do whatever you want to me. The banquet finally began, and everyone rushed to the food area impatiently. Chapter 267 Mother Yi visits relatives. Halfway through the delicious buffet, Lolly came out pushing a huge 11-layer cake, and everyone rushed over. Lin Xianhao was a little surprised. Why did you order a cake? Birthday cakes are no longer popular in the interstellar age. People just buy them when they want to eat, so Lin Xianhao didn't even think about preparing a cake. This is a birthday cake, a birthday present for my sister-in-law, Lin Miaomiao replied. She had never learned how to make cakes or pastries, so she bought this cake from the most famous startup cake shop on the Star Network, spending a full 20,000 credit points. Lin Miaomiao felt sorry for her nutritional supplements, but Lin Xianhao said with disdain, you want to get rid of your sister-in-law with a broken cake? Miaomiao, you are too poor. No, this doesn't count. What? This is still a broken cake, then what do the ones I usually eat count as? Rubbish. Liu Kaoyer was very excited. 20,000 credits is enough for an average family of 3 for 2 months, Yi Hongwen said coldly. Xianhao, you're so ungrateful. Ren Jiaojiao also disapproved. She stood up and walked over to the cake, saying, star-shaped cakes aren't cheap. I love this gift. Thank you, Miaomiao. Lin Miaomiao, who was about to explode, was pleased. She said, well, your future sister-in-law is quite sensible. Unlike her brother, who is several years older than her, he takes her for granted. Brother, you heard it, sister-in-law said she loves it. Lin Miaomiao raised her chin provocatively at her eldest brother. How could you dislike such a good cake? You have really poor taste. Lin Xianhao was embarrassed. He had just made a joke, but it had attracted a siege. It seemed best for him to keep quiet. Having suppressed the unkind person, Ren Jiaojiao was about to cut with a long knife when Lin Miaomiao stopped her again. You can't just cut a birthday cake like that, Lin Miaomiao said. You have to light the candles, make a wish, then blow them out in one breath. Only then can you start cutting. So she dropped the candles, made a wish, and then struggled to blow them out. After tossing the flower-shaped candle aside, she was finally able to cut. As Ren Jiaojiao was about to cut, Yi Hongwen's communicator buzzed nearby. He looked down at the collar and saw it was his mother. He said to Lin Miaomiao, I'm going to go out and take a video call. I'll be back soon, just take it. What are you talking about? Lin Miaomiao waved her hands impatiently. Don't talk about it if it's none of my business. Yi Hongwen could only reluctantly push his way through the crowd and leave. After the video call was connected, his mother appeared before him, but her background seemed familiar. It didn't look like she was at home, but rather like the front gate of the base. Why are you here? Yi Hongwen asked as he walked down to the ship. Although he was surprised, since she was here, he couldn't just ignore her. Mother Yi said confidently, of course I came to see you. My son is injured, how could I not come to see him? Yi Hongwen was speechless. After becoming a soldier, he had also suffered many injuries, big and small, but except for that life-threatening injury, his mother would never come to him on purpose. Now she brought this up, as if she thought he was stupid. But he could also guess the reason for her coming. Last time, he asked for help, but she had asked for her help with the safety of his future daughter-in-law. She came here under the pretext of visiting relatives, but in fact she was here to see his daughter-in-law. However, he had not yet caught up with a person, even with 2 military advisors and several methods, but he was unsuccessful and instead earned the label of a gangster. Okay, no matter what you are here for, just stay here for a few days. Yi Hongwen turned and walked forward. You probably haven't had dinner yet, right? I'll take you to eat something. It's already 5 o'clock when we got off the passenger ship. How can we have time to eat? Mother Yi frowned. The food in your fleet must not be that good, otherwise take some ingredients back to your dormitory and cook. Don't worry, you can't eat it normally, but you can definitely eat it today. Yi Hongwen was very confident. Oh, Mother Yi was skeptical. Is there anything different today? Yi Hongwen said lightly. Someone in the team has a birthday, and her fiancé specially held a birthday party and engagement party for her today. Mother Yi suddenly realized that this was the reason. For such an important banquet, a famous chef must be invited, which made her look forward to it. When Yi Hongwen and the other man arrived at the ship's dining room, everyone was already busy eating cake. Seeing him enter, Liu Yifei immediately called out, "Where have you been, boss? If you don't come over soon, the cake will be gone." As soon as he said that, he saw the beautiful middle-aged woman behind him and was startled. "Auntie Yi, why are you here?" Mother Yi smiled and said, "Little Yifei, it's been a long time, and you're still so silly." Liu Yifei felt like crying, but he couldn't cry. Who would say that right after meeting someone? Wasn't that just a deliberate attempt to undermine his reputation? Too angry to speak, he could only force a smile and say, "Auntie Yi is getting younger and more beautiful." Suddenly, Luo Cheng and the others who had met Mother Yi cautiously approached to greet her, earning a variety of amusing and embarrassing comments. Seeing this, Yi Hongwen changed the subject. "Mom, aren't you hungry? Look and see what you'd like to eat. There's your favorite brand of cake in the middle, and there's a buffet along the wall. Then let's have some cake first," Mother Yi said, worried that the buffet wouldn't suit her taste, so she decided to have the cake first. As soon as Mother Yi finished speaking, Ren Jiao immediately took a large cake on a plate and handed it to Lin Miaomiao. "Sister, please help me take it over." Lin Miaomiao was bewildered. Wouldn't it be more sincere if her sister-in-law took it over? She was the birthday girl, and besides, she was Yi Hongwen's mother, someone he had always avoided. Noticing Lin Miaomiao's reluctance, Yi Hongwen felt a little downcast, but he still stepped forward to help. "Give it to me." Mother Yi thanked Ren Jiao with a smile, but she didn't rush to eat. She cast her eyes on the sullen girl. Seeing her beauty and youth, yet she had attracted her son's initiative to help her, she immediately had a plan. Finding her target right after arriving was quite smooth, but it seemed her son didn't seem to like her at all, even refusing to offer her a cake. Mother Yi smiled to herself and didn't rush to approach her. She slowly nibbled at the cake. After eating a piece of cake, Mother Yi, who was already half full, noticed a cold-faced girl in the buffet area. Her eyes suddenly lit up and she walked over and said, "Little girl, I'm not full yet and want to have some buffet. Can you tell me where to get the tableware?" Lin Miaomiao was speechless. There was such a big disinfection cabinet standing there, so why should she ask? But the other party asked, and even out of courtesy, she had to answer. So she pointed to the disinfection cabinet and said, "The clean tableware is all there. You can get whatever you want there." Mother Yi didn't move after getting the answer, but just smiled and said, "I'm a little tired from traveling today. How about you help me get some?" It was hard to refuse the elder's request, so Lin Miaomiao could only silently run to get the dishes. Chapter 268 Misunderstanding. The tableware was handed to Mother Yi. Lin Miaomiao was about to leave with her small plate when she was stopped again. "Little girl," Mother Yi said a little embarrassedly, "there are so many varieties of dishes here. I don't know which ones are the best. Could you recommend some to me?" Lin Miaomiao didn't know whether to leave with a blank face or it would be awkward not to leave. After a long period of hesitation, she finally walked over and asked, "Do you prefer light or spicy food? Can you eat spicy food? I'm not picky about food. I can eat anything that's not super spicy," Mother Yi replied. "Oh, then you can try the steamed fish and taro belly. They don't have too many chilies in them." And the Buddha jumps over the wall. "The soup is delicious," Lin Miaomiao said, introducing a few dishes she thought were good. "The sweet and sour spare ribs are sweet and sour, the roast suckling pig is fat and tender, and the barbecued meat is chewy and oily. They all sound good," said Mother Yi, who had originally had no appetite, but after hearing her introduction, she became interested. She took a little of each and then pulled her to sit at a nearby table. "Let me try it and see if it's really good." Lin Miaomiao was embarrassed. Just try it. Why did she drag her along? If it wasn't good, would she be held responsible? As soon as the dishes took a bite, Mother Yi's eyes lit up. The dishes tasted really good, comparable to those at the Star Hotel. Could they have paid a lot of money to hire those chefs? Good food brings joy to the eater. Mother Yi was so immersed in the food that she almost forgot her original purpose. She quickly finished all the dishes she had picked, and still felt a little reluctant to leave. Just as she was about to grab some more food, she turned to the food area, only to find it crowded. She didn't want to squeeze in. Just as she was feeling frustrated, her eyes caught sight of Lin Miaomiao, nibbling at her food across from her. Suddenly, Yi's mother had an idea. "Little girl, what's your name?" Yi's mother asked. Could she just leave her alone quietly? Lin Miaomiao sighed, but still put down her chopsticks and replied, "My name is Lin Miaomiao." "Miaomiao? What a nice name," Yi's mother complimented with a smile, then introduced herself. "My name is Gulan. You can call me Aunt Gu or Aunt Yi." Lin Miaomiao's mouth twitched. They weren't familiar with each other, so calling her Mother Yi was enough. "Aunt Yi, are you full?" Lin Miaomiao prepared to leave. It would be nice to go back and browse Star Network early, she hadn't been shopping in a while. Gulan smiled, "Not very full yet. Would you mind bringing me some more food?" Lin Miaomiao was speechless. Did she really have to act so familiar? "Please fill me another bowl of Buddha jumps over the wall, some roast suckling pig, sweet and sour spare ribs. Oh, and that steamed pork with rice flour looks good too. Meat alone is a bit greasy, so let's get some broccoli." Gulan waited silently after ordering the dishes. She was even tapping the dishes with a pair of chopsticks in one hand because she was bored. Lin Miaomiao finally understood why Yi Hongwen ordered her to do things so naturally. It was probably hereditary. Considering that she was an elder and a chosen guest, she let it go this time. Lin Miaomiao got up and walked towards the food area. Not long after she left, Yi Hongwen, who had been pestered by Liu Yifei for a long time, came over. "Where is Miaomiao?" Yi Hongwen asked puzzledly. He had just seen her having dinner with his mother. Gulan pointed to the food area. "It's over there. I asked her to get some food for me." Yi Hongwen was a little incredulous. "The first time we met, you asked her to do something for you." "Mom, you're going too far. What nonsense are you talking about, you poor kid?" Gulan said with a dark face. "She's my future daughter-in-law. I just asked her to help get some food. How is that too much?" Yi Hongwen held his forehead. The problem was that she hadn't agreed at all. Would that bring him bad luck? Gulan also realized that something was wrong. Could it be that the girl was not shy when she was reluctant to give her the cake at the beginning, but really didn't want to? "Son, you haven't got her yet." Gulan was so disappointed that she couldn't catch up with a person right under her nose. "What do you mean by not getting her?" "You're too harsh," Yi Hongwen said coldly. Lin Miaomiao came back from getting the food and heard these words. She was a little at a loss. They were not arguing. Should she still go over? After hesitating for a long time, she decided to go back to the food area for a while, but she didn't expect that Yi Hongwen had already discovered her as soon as she turned around. "Miaomiao, everything has been taken? Why don't you come over?" Yi Hongwen shouted. Gulan also joined in. "Yes, I've been waiting for a long time." Was he dissatisfied with her slowness? Lin Miaomiao took a deep breath and told herself that today was a good day for her brother and sister-in-law, and she couldn't be angry. She turned around and walked back, putting the tray in front of Gulan. Please enjoy the things you asked for. After that, Lin Miaomiao left without looking back, completely ignoring the two people who were calling her from behind. Hey, are you angry? Gulan was a little confused about what was going on. Could it be that he was unhappy because she was asked to help get some dishes? Gulan was also a little unhappy. After all, she was an elder, and there was nothing wrong with asking her to help do something. Why did he just turn his face away like that? As Gulan's son, Yi Hongwen naturally understood what she was thinking. He hurriedly explained, "It's not what you think. She's a little sensitive, and she probably misunderstood what you just said as complaining about her being too slow." Gulan was dumbfounded. How could that be? She really had just said it casually. Yi Hongwen no longer wanted to pay attention to his outspoken mother. He stood up and went to find Lin Miaomiao, wanting to explain. After a few rounds, he found no one and felt depressed. "Boss, are you looking for the little cook?" Liu Yifei approached with a sly smile. "I saw where she went." Seeing that he was asking for a beating, Yi Hongwen slapped him on the head. "Just say it. Don't keep me in suspense." Liu Yifei rubbed his head and complained. He had come all the way to tip him off, and the boss had responded like this. It was enough. He wanted to protest, but he didn't dare. Liu Yifei could only rub his nose and accept the defeat. However, thinking of something, Liu Yifei instantly recovered and said with a gloating look, "The little cook just told her sister-in-law that she wanted to go back to the dormitory to rest first. I seemed to see the deputy captain following her." Yi Hongwen was no longer calm when he heard that. He wanted to chase after him, but when he went out, he remembered that his mother didn't know how to get back to his dormitory later. He had to go back to the restaurant and told Liu Yifei, "Wait until my mother finishes her meal and then I will send her back to my dormitory." Liu Yifei naturally agreed and waved a tablecloth to say goodbye. "Boss, go quickly. Don't be careless, otherwise the little cook will run away." Luo Chang, who was still eating hard, couldn't stand it anymore. "Liu Yifei, you want to fight? You pulled the tablecloth away and almost knocked over my dishes." Liu Yifei was embarrassed. He seemed a little too proud of himself. Chapter 269, Too Smart for Your Own Good. Just as Liu Yifei had said, Lin Miaomiao had just disembarked from the warship when Gu Qinghang chased after her. She was a bit surprised. "King Qiu, why are you here too? We have a karaoke party coming up soon." The birthday party would have been rather dull if it ended after dinner, so at Lin Miaomiao's suggestion, a karaoke party was scheduled for 8 p.m., with everyone going to the lounge to sing and chat. To that end, Lin Miaomiao had even taken the time to prepare snacks and drinks in the lounge that afternoon. Karaoke wouldn't be complete without them. If you're not joining, then the karaoke party won't be much fun. You might as well go back and rest, Gu Qinghang replied gently. This was exactly what Lin Miaomiao feared. Last time, she'd impulsively sung a nursery rhyme and had everyone going wild. If she stayed aboard for the karaoke party, someone would surely urge her to sing again. But why would Gu Qinghang say that? Did the comrades who stayed behind at the base know about what happened last time, and was he deliberately teasing her? Thinking about the story of her singing nursery rhymes spreading throughout Shanghai, Lin Miaomiao felt terrible and said decisively, "I will definitely not participate. Just give up on it." Gu Qinghang didn't understand what was going on and asked in a daze, "I didn't plan to ask you to participate, Miaomiao. Why did you think so?" It turned out that she had misunderstood. Lin Miaomiao breathed a sigh of relief and instantly regained her usual composure. "Don't take it seriously, I was just saying it casually." "Oh, that's good." Gu Qinghang didn't intend to delve into it. He had other purposes in chasing her out this time, so he smiled and said, "Why are you in such a hurry to go back? Today is your sister-in-law's birthday and their engagement party. Shouldn't you stay and help greet the guests?" "Oh, I'm a little tired and want to go back and rest for a while," Lin Miaomiao said casually. Even if they were good friends, she didn't intend to share her thoughts with King Qiu. After all, their friendship was not that close yet. However, she refused to speak, and Gu Qinghang began to speculate. Could it be that the captain said something unkind that upset you? Lin Miaomiao frowned. While her anger might have something to do with Yi Hongwen, that didn't mean he had said anything unkind. King Qiu's arbitrary speculation was truly unnecessary. "No, I was just tired from overwork this afternoon," Lin Miaomiao denied. Gu Qingheng knew her well enough to know that this excuse was unfounded, so he sighed. You're still covering up for him at this hour? He's always been a mean person. He even scolded Xiaoran to tears before. He scolded Xiaoran to tears. Lin Miaomiao was intrigued. It turned out that Bingshan and Qinkqiu's childhood sweetheart were acquaintances, with a hidden story behind them. Could it be that the childhood sweetheart was about to fall in love with someone else, and had taken a fancy to Bingshan, making a passionate confession and clinging to him daily, only to have Bingshan become unbearable and unleashed a vicious tongue? This wasn't just Lin Miaomiao's baseless fantasy. Deep within the original owner's video storage lay several videos of Yi Hongwen railing against her. His tirade was always directed at women he'd never let go of, including the original owner. When she first saw them, she wondered if the original owner was a masochist, wondering if she wouldn't give up despite such venomous taunts. It wasn't until she, too, inexplicably fell for this iceberg that she understood the meaning of beauty in the eyes of the beholder. Gu Qingheng had no idea what was going on in her head, but seeing her interest, he recounted the entire incident, concluding, the captain, despite his impressive abilities and good looks, has a very low emotional intelligence and a complete lack of understanding of human touch. Lin Miaomiao, surprised, looked Qinkqiu up and down. Judging from the origins of the incident, Xiao Qingmei had deserved this scolding. His defense, could it be that his supposed sisterly attitude was a lie? He truly loved Xiao Qingmei, but he simply hadn't realized it. As a friend, Lin Miaomiao felt that she had an obligation to remind him, so she said seriously, Qinkqiu, don't you think you care about Xiaoran very much? I know. Gu Qingheng couldn't figure out what she meant, but was afraid that she would misunderstand, so he hurriedly explained, Xiaoran and I have known each other since childhood, and our families are old friends. It is normal to care about her, but your concern has exceeded the normal range, Lin Miaomiao pointed out. In the matter you just mentioned, it is obvious that both parties are wrong, but you only focus on one side. Gu Qingheng's face changed. Is she shirking responsibility for Yi Hongwen? But as a man, shouldn't you be more tolerant? Gu Qingheng refused to give up, even trying to retort her argument of giving them both 50 lashes. Besides, Xiaoran's health isn't good, and it's not like she'll die if she lets him do something. Lin Miaomiao shook her head, somewhat helplessly saying, poor health doesn't give her the right to wantonly interfere in the lives of strangers. As for the distinction between men and women, I've never believed that being a woman entitles me to privilege, even with the current severe imbalance in the gender ratio. Gu Qingheng was speechless. Xiaoran's behavior was indeed excessive, but they had grown up together, and a hint of jealousy towards Yi Hongwen's talent had subconsciously shifted the blame. Even with this awareness, he was prepared to persevere. A life without rivals was terrifying. Miaomiao, what you said does make sense, but I still can't be friends with him. Gu Qingheng smiled slightly. Actually, this is pretty good, isn't it? Lin Miaomiao turned and looked at him for a long time, finally nodded and said, I can understand you, because your feelings for Xiaoran are too deep, so even if she is wrong, you choose to ignore it. Gu Qingheng was shocked. Why did he feel that Miaomiao seemed to have misunderstood something? I feel about Xiaoran. He didn't have the chance to finish his words, because they walked to the elevator of the dormitory, and the elevator door was already open. Lin Miaomiao rushed in impatiently, and greeted him casually, come in quickly. Gu Qingheng walked in silently, and was about to continue explaining while the elevator was rising, but Lin Miaomiao didn't give him a chance. Instead, she advised earnestly, if you like someone, you should say it. Now Xiaoran is still pursuing you wholeheartedly. Wouldn't it be a happy thing if you say it? If one day she gets tired of chasing you and gives up, I'm afraid you won't be able to cry. That's not the case. Gu Qingheng was almost sweating coldly. If the matter was concluded like this, wouldn't it be even more difficult for him to pursue Miaomiao? Unfortunately, Lin Miaomiao didn't give him a chance to explain, because the elevator stopped. She pushed Gu Qingheng, who was about to explain, out and said, Qinkqiu, you're here. Go back and have a rest. Think about what I said. Remember, you have to pick the flowers when they are in bloom. Gu Qingheng watched the elevator door close, and then the elevator rose rapidly and stopped on the upper floor. Then he was depressed. He didn't press the floor button at all. Why was Miaomiao so considerate? Chapter 270 New Mission. The day after Yi's mother arrived, Yi Hongwen had originally planned to accompany her on a tour of the Shenaiyu base, but before he could act, a new mission arrived. This time, The mission wasn't to provide aid or to fight alien beasts, but to suppress the Black Evil Wind pirate group. The Black Evil Wind, a group known for its crimes, was one of the largest in the interstellar universe, occupying a medium-sized planet as its base. The Federation had repeatedly sent fleets to suppress them, but they always returned empty-handed, ultimately resorting to defensive strategy. It wasn't that the Black Evil Wind was so powerful that the Federation couldn't defeat them, but the cost was too high. With the Empire watching closely, they couldn't just throw everything at the expense of a single pirate group. In the captain's room, Yi Hongwen sent a group email to Gu Qingheng and several other squadron leaders about the mission. Then, he said, "This mission is quite dangerous. After reading the information, everyone should carefully consider the list of personnel for the mission." Gu Qingheng quickly flipped through the information and said thoughtfully, "Logically, we shouldn't be on this mission. There are 8 fleets participating, and besides ours, the other 7 are all large fleets. Is someone plotting something bad?" Liu Yifei was furious. He wasn't afraid of the mission's danger, but he hated those who played tricks. Yi Hongwen said coldly, "What does it matter? As long as there's a mission, we must go. No matter how dangerous it is, we can't desert, boss." "You're right," Wen Zixi smiled, playing with a communicator. "Besides, this is a great opportunity. As long as we're careful and don't rush out front and become cannon fodder, we might be able to achieve the best results at the lowest cost." The participation of the first fleets of several major armies in this mission was unprecedented, demonstrating the Federation's seriousness in this operation. Even if they couldn't annihilate the Black Evil Wind, they would at least severely damage it. "Zixi, you're dreaming. The captains of those large fleets are all experienced shrews. They wouldn't let us hide behind them and take advantage of them," Liu Yifei said with a disdainful curl of his lips. "That's true, but life is bound to have accidents. If the warship suddenly breaks down halfway through and we can't continue, there's nothing we can do about it," Wen Zixi said with a subtle smile. Liu Yifei understood. This was a trick under the guise of an accident, but it was a good idea and he liked it. The matter was settled. The next thing to discuss was the team members for the mission. This mission was different from the usual ones, and those who were not yet accustomed to individual combat would be better off staying behind. "I think the new recruits who came in this year don't need to go," Gu Qingheng suggested. "They don't have enough experience. Not only can they not help if they go, but they will have to split up to take care of them." Liu Yifei didn't like him. Although he knew what he said made sense, he still sang a different tune. "We have few people to begin with, and even fewer veteran team members. If we don't let the new recruits go, there will only be 100 or so of us. How can we earn credit and make a name for ourselves for Shen Yu?" Luo Cheng also agreed. "There is no point in sending if there are too few people. Besides, new recruits will always experience such things. It's just a matter of sooner or later." Even Gu Qingheng had to admit this, but he was really worried that there would be too many new recruits. If something went wrong, the veterans wouldn't be able to rescue in time, and it would trigger a chain reaction. After a long deliberation, Gu Qingheng asked Yi Hongwen, who rarely expressed his opinions, "Captain, do you have any suggestions?" Yi Hongwen replied indifferently, "The team leaders keep records of the new recruits' performance during missions. We'll sift through the records and select those who appear calm and haven't made major mistakes. We'll then assign them directly to the veteran team." Gu Qingheng pondered this for a while, but couldn't see any flaws. He reluctantly conceded that this method was a good one. While not all the qualified recruits were abandoned, the danger was reduced. However, he felt reluctant to speak out in support of his opponent, so he simply kept quiet. In the end, everyone followed Yi Hongwen's method and selected a few new recruits. Although the number was small, any extra was probably a good thing, and no one would mind it. Everything was pretty much settled, except for the departure time. The Black Evil Wind was on a remote planet in the Linling Star region. The journey from Shaoyin Star would take about 5 days and 5 nights, and the military had set a date for the encirclement and suppression operation 6 days later at 3 in the morning. "The date is set so tight, it seems we have even more reasons not to arrive on time." When Zixi sighed and feigned helplessness, "The military seems to be a bit understanding." Yi Hongwen was a little hesitant. Logically, the time shouldn't be set too tight. It takes 5 days and 5 nights to set off from Shaoyin Star, so what about those who are even further away? Not only him, but Gu Qingheng also had the same doubts, so he asked, "Should we ask someone we know? If you have an acquaintance in Jinghong?" Yi Hongwen did not object. Since someone volunteered to get the news, He wouldn't have to go out and get someone's cold shoulder. Gu Qingheng listened silently and walked out the door. He couldn't get the news in public. A few minutes later, Gu Qingheng returned, his expression becoming slightly odd. He said, Jinghong received a mission 4 days ago and left for Heishifang this morning. What he didn't mention was that his friend was surprised to hear that Xin Yu had received a mission today. There are only a little over 200 people, and even fewer who can go on the mission. Are you being sent to be cannon fodder? Someone must be playing tricks, otherwise we wouldn't be qualified to go on this mission at all. After receiving the confirmed information, Liu Yifei didn't know whether to be angry or amused. Yi Hongwen didn't bother to dwell on the issue. Everything that needed to be discussed had been discussed. The next step was to prepare everything and set off. Before the mission, he had a problem to deal with. It's already past 11 o'clock. The team members should be in Chen Guang's gravity training room. Luo Chang, take the list and find someone. Tell them to go back and pack their things and gather in the waiting area at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Yi Hongwen said. Yifei will stay at the base again this time. Liu Yifei couldn't help but protest, why is it always me? Can't we take turns? Because you are most familiar with the things in the base, you are the most suitable, Yi Hongwen said. After refuting Liu Yifei's suggestion of rotation, Yi Hongwen announced the end of the meeting, then got up and left in a hurry. He still had to go back and talk to his mother to see if she wanted to stay at the base for a few days or go home. Back in the dormitory, Gulan was wandering around in the kitchen. The originally empty kitchen was once again filled with kitchen utensils. It seemed that she planned to cook by herself. Gulan heard the noise and said, "You're back so early? I'm almost done cooking, we can eat soon." Yi Hongwen just remembered that he actually had a meal for 6 people, and the portion was enough for 2 people, but he forgot to tell her before he left. He had planned to tell her at lunch, but he didn't expect his mother to be so proactive. She had already bought kitchen utensils on the Star Network and started cooking herself. The meal was almost cooked, and there was no point in stopping her now. Yi Hongwen simply sat down on the sofa and waited. There was something wrong with the computer, and Word couldn't be opened. He sent it directly from his mobile phone, and he didn't know if there was any problem with the format. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271 Mother-Son Dialogue. Soon, Gulan had cooked all the dishes and placed them on the table. Yi Hongwen helped set the table. Mother and son sat down to eat when the doorbell rang. Yi Hongwen knew it was his hospital meal. Every time Lin Miaomiao was served, Lin Miaomiao would send Lolly to deliver it. Opening the door and accepting the meal, Yi Hongwen thanked Lolly. Intelligence robots are very particular about manners. If they were angered, they might even speak ill of him in front of their owner. Lolly was about to say, "You're welcome," when her electronic eyes spotted the 3 dishes and a soup on the table. Without a word, she turned away. Yi Hongwen was stunned, a feeling of unease rising in his heart. Lolly, like her owner, was a bit petty. Seeing the food on the table, she'd surely think he was deliberately wasting Miaomiao's exercise time. He wanted to explain, but he knew it was pointless. After all, even with its intelligence, robots were stubborn. He simply returned to the table with 2 insulated lunchboxes, one large and one small. I should probably wait until after dinner to explain this to Miaomiao, Yi Hongwen thought. Son, your fleet's robots are surprisingly adorable, Gulan marveled. And you, as captain, are taking advantage of this privilege by having a robot bring you food. Yi Hongwen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How could that be? Miaomiao brought this robot, and it's helping out in the kitchen for free. As for the food, you know I was injured a few days ago, and this is a sick meal Miaomiao prepared for me. Sick meal. Gulan almost thought there was something wrong with her ears. Her son had been injured more than once, but this was the first time she'd heard of such a privilege. It wasn't that no one had prepared it for him before, but he hadn't wanted to accept it, thinking it wouldn't have a good impact. Why had he changed his mind now? Wait, she seemed to have overlooked something. This hospital meal was prepared by the little girl named Miaomiao. So that little girl with the expressionless face can cook? Yi Hongwen nodded, opened the insulated lunchbox, and took out the sorted dishes inside. At a glance, he found that the portion was much larger than usual, and his heart couldn't help but warm a little. This must be because he prepared an extra portion for his mother. Let's eat first. I have something to tell you later. Yi Hongwen first served a bowl of rice to his mother, and then served himself. Okay, let me try the food made by the little girl. Gulan excitedly took the bowl of rice, and her chopsticks went straight to the hand-shredded cabbage she had been eyeing. The hospital meal was also 3 dishes and 1 soup. The dishes were hand-shredded cabbage, stir-fried beef with shredded radish, and pickled fish. The soup was red date and white fungus meat pie soup. It looked like an ordinary home-cooked meal, but it tasted exceptionally good when put into the mouth. Even Gulan, who was as picky as she was, had to admit that the food was very much to her taste. She just didn't know why, but she felt that the taste of these dishes was somewhat familiar, as if they were similar to what she had eaten on the Shen Yu last night. Did that girl really make this? Gulan couldn't help but question it. It wasn't that she was suspicious, but in this technologically advanced interstellar age, unless they were graduates of a culinary academy, it was rare to find someone under the age of 20 with such excellent cooking skills. It's true, Yi Hongwen said casually, not bothering to pay attention to her, and started eating. He was lucky for lunch today. No matter who made the dish, he liked it. Gulan continued to eat doubtfully. After eating only half a bowl, she was sure that the taste was exactly the same as last night's buffet, so she wondered, could she be the chef last night? Yi Hongwen nodded simply. I just realized that your reaction is getting slower and slower. Could it be that you are getting older? No matter what era, age and weight are what women care about most. Yi Hongwen has really stirred up a hornet's nest. Gulan slammed her chopsticks on the table, and in a few seconds, she put the hospital meal back into the insulated lunchbox, and put the 2 insulated lunchboxes in front of her. These are all mine, and the other dishes are yours, Gulan announced domineeringly. Yi Hongwen stared at her in disbelief. Stop it, there are a lot of dishes, enough for 2 people, it's okay, I can eat the vegetables to fill my stomach, Gulan replied calmly. After several unsuccessful attempts, Yi Hongwen could only sullenly eat the dish his mother had gifted him, muttering to himself, next time, I'll never say anything bad about her to her face. Women are so petty. After a harmonious lunch, Gulan was about to clear the table when Yi Hongwen stopped her. Please do that later. I need to tell you something. Why are you in such a hurry? You don't even mind the greasy table, Gulan complained, sitting down again. Yi Hongwen gazed at his mother's youthful face, untouched by the passage of time. He was unsure how to break the news of his impending mission to her. He'd have to separate so soon after meeting her, and it would take at least 2 weeks for him to return. She would surely be upset. Although her son was reluctant to explain, Gulan already understood. She had seen such an embarrassed expression on her husband's face many times. Although she was a little sad, she still smiled and said, Are you going on a mission? Then you should go out quickly. I'm sorry, Yi Hongwen whispered, you just got here, but I can't spend a few days with you. Gulan smiled and shook her head. When her eyes fell on the insulated lunchbox on the table, she remembered, your injury has not healed yet. Can you? Yi Hongwen smiled helplessly. This mission is very important. Even if I can't get on the mecha, I have to go. It's not that he was reluctant to give power to Gu Qingheng, but Shen Yu had been without a deputy captain for a long time. Everyone was used to obeying his command, and they might not cooperate well with the new deputy captain. The reasons were all laid out, and no matter how worried Gulan was, she couldn't stop him. She could only remind him, then you have to pay attention to your own safety, and don't try to get on the mecha. It's okay. You see, I've been on so many missions, and I'm still full of energy. Yi Hongwen comforted her casually, and then asked about his mother's arrangements. I'm not on the fleet. Are you planning to wait for me here or buy you a ticket to go home? Of course, here, Gulan answered without thinking. It was a rare trip for her, and she didn't want to go home as soon as she arrived. Yi Hongwen was not surprised by her choice. Okay, I'll ask Yifei to take you around the base. Gulan nodded indifferently. But then changed her mind. If you don't want him to take you, then take that little girl. She shouldn't go on the mission with you, right? Looking at his mother's pleading eyes, Yi Hongwen hesitated for a while and finally agreed. However, I have to ask her own opinion. If she doesn't want to, I can't force her. Okay, Gulan nodded and urged her son, then you should go find her quickly. You've been away for more than half a month, you should at least say goodbye properly. I'm afraid that what the other person cares about is not saying goodbye, but why she can't go on the mission. Yi Hongwen complained in his heart. but still stood up obediently. Then I'll go first. A trace of sadness flashed in Gulan's eyes. If there was no dangerous little mission, he would not come to say goodbye to her so seriously, but she still had to smile and wave goodbye to him, not wanting to let her son feel uneasy. Chapter 272 Request Rejected. After leaving the house, Yi Hongwen ran directly to the 49th floor and knocked on the door. He had been eating what he called sick meals these days, but in fact, it was just an ordinary small meal. Since he had to make it anyway, Lin Miaomiao simply made more and prepared portions for his brother and sister-in-law and a few friends every day. This made Yi Hongwen feel very disappointed because he was not the special one. What made him even more depressed was that his meals were delivered by lolly every day, while Liu Kaoyer and others could eat at home. He had protested before, but someone said with confidence, "You are the captain. We can't enjoy our meals with you around." Having said that, what could Yi Hongwen do? Did he still run over to join in the fun? Liu Yifei had actually tried to encourage him, saying that if he wanted to pursue a girlfriend, he needed to be thick-skinned. He even volunteered to go with him. "With me here, we'll make sure the atmosphere isn't dull." Yi Hongwen ruthlessly refused. "It seems your previous advice didn't work. This time, I'm afraid you're just trying to get a free meal." Exposed, Liu Yifei quietly fled. With no hope of getting a free meal, he had to disappear quickly. Lunch should be over by now, Yi Hongwen thought, standing still, waiting for someone to open the door. The door opened. It was Lolita. Seeing who was standing outside, it tried to close it again, but Yi Hongwen's quick eyes and hands stopped it. "Lolita?" Yi Hongwen was a little surprised. This robot was a bit too intelligent, trying to block him out without even asking its owner's permission. He was puzzled as to why Lolita didn't want him in. Could it be because of the food she'd seen in his dormitory? Unfortunately, Lolita didn't bother to explain. Seeing that he had attracted the attention of several people in the room, she quietly turned and went back inside. "Why is the captain here?" Lin Miaomiao's face was not very good. "What's the matter?" Lolly came back and told her what she saw. It was a good thing that Yibo's mother cooked by herself, so she didn't have to do it herself, but Yi Hongwen also said that it was too irresponsible not to notify her. What's more, she couldn't go on this mission again. Although Zhu Chen explained that there were not many new recruits who could go, she was still unhappy. It was so hard to go on a mission, but she was beaten back to square one after just one mission. This feeling was really terrible. Yi Hongwen could of course see that she was not in a good mood, but he pretended to be stupid and said, "I have something to ask of you. Come out and talk." There were 7 or 8 people inside, so it was not convenient to say anything. It would be better to go out and talk. It was easy for him to think about it, but Lin Xianhao refused to agree. "Boss, just say it directly if you have something to say. There is no need to hide it. You are not trying to seduce my sister secretly, are you?" Yi Hongwen glanced at the gossipy expressions on the faces of the others and said coldly, "Sorry, it's not easy to talk when there are so many people around." Liu Kaoyer asked bluntly, "Why is it not easy to talk when there are so many people around?" "Boss, do you want to confess to Miaomiao? Wouldn't it be better to express your feelings when there are so many people around?" Lin Miaomiao frowned and reached out to pinch Liu Kaoyer. "Eat your meal. No one will think you are dumb if you don't speak." After pinching, she left the grinning Liu Kaoyer and walked out the door. It happened that she also wanted to find a back door to go on the mission, so it would be nice to chat in private. After closing the door, the two of them found a place some distance away from the door and stopped. Before Yi Hongwen could open his mouth, Lin Miaomiao said, "I want to participate in this mission too." Yi Hongwen was stunned for a moment, and after he reacted, he refused. "No, this mission is too dangerous. You can't go." "What's dangerous? You can't even get on the mecha, but you will still go." Lin Miaomiao would not give up. "Besides, how can we grow up without experiencing wind and rain? You can't always stop us from going when there is danger." "That won't happen," Yi Hongwen denied. "We just have to wait for a while. Don't forget that you almost got into trouble on the last mission. That mission was not very dangerous. The main force of Huanjing had been eliminated long ago, and the remaining old, weak and sick people were not dangerous at all." Lin Miaomiao understood it very well, but refused to admit it. "You didn't expect that a pirate would self-destruct that time, not to mention that such things rarely happen." "I don't believe it will happen again this time," Yi Hongwen said calmly. "There are more capable people in Heishifen, so this is really possible. So you'd better forget about this mission and stay in the base for training." "But I want to go on a mission," Lin Miaomiao asked in a soft voice, "Teacher Yi, please take me with you. I promise to be careful this time and stay away from the Shenyu." It had been a long time since he heard her call her teacher Yi, and even her voice was much softer. Yi Hongwen really missed her and almost agreed. But when he thought of the difficulty of this mission, he swallowed the words back. "No, this is not negotiable," Yi Hongwen said with a stern face, trying hard not to look at the disappointment on her face. Lin Miaomiao tried to make a final push. "You really don't want to agree? Actually, it would be nice to have more help." Yi Hongwen shook his head firmly. "No means no. Let's leave this topic for now. Let's talk about something else." For example, his mother was staying here for a while, and he wanted her to be his tour guide, accompanying him to eat, drink, and have fun every day. Unfortunately, Lin Miaomiao wasn't interested in changing the subject. After being rejected from the mission, her expression suddenly changed. "I need to go back and rest. Goodbye, Captain." Then she trotted back to the door, opened it, entered, and closed it. The movements were done in one smooth, seamless motion, as if they had been practiced countless times. Yi Hongwen, trapped outside, was disheveled. He knocked on the door again, but there was no response. Yi Hongwen helplessly sent a video call to Lin Miaomiao, but it was also rejected. It seemed that the tour guide job was not going to work out, so Yi Hongwen turned and returned to the dormitory. Seeing her son coming back, Gulan was puzzled. "Did it happen? You are going on a mission, why don't you talk to her for a while?" She thought her son would not come back after going out just now, so she waited until 2 o'clock to board the ship and said goodbye to him in advance. It didn't happen. Yi Hongwen sat down on the sofa with a headache. Gulan opened her eyes wide in disbelief. "She doesn't want to accompany me." Yi Hongwen was afraid that his mother would misunderstand, so he explained everything. "She wanted to go on the mission so much that she was unhappy when I rejected her. She didn't even want to talk to me and went back. I didn't have time to speak about your matter." Gulan was embarrassed. It turned out that her son also had times when he didn't have time to speak. It was really fun to see, so she really laughed. The unscrupulous mother held her stomach and laughed out loud, without any intention of comforting herself. Yi Hongwen gritted his teeth and said in a muffled voice, "I'll go back to my room and rest first." "What's the hurry?" Gulan pulled him. "You have a chance to rest while you are on the road. You'd better tell me about that girl and I'll give you some advice. With your emotional intelligence, I don't think it will be easy for you to pursue her," Yi Hongwen said with a wooden face. "No need, I'll do it myself." He asked 2 people for advice, using 2 completely different methods, but the result was to provoke the person's anger that was about to disappear, so he decided not to ask for help. Chapter 273 Sneaking onto the ship. After everyone left for lunch, Lin Miaomiao lay in bed for a while, but couldn't sleep. The thought of everyone going on a mission at 2 p.m. while she still had to stay in the fleet made her feel queasy, like a cat scratching her. After rolling around a few times, she finally got up, changed her clothes, and prepared to go out. Since she couldn't sleep, she might as well go to Changguan to practice, so as not to be looked down upon for her lack of skills. As she exited the polygonal door, a familiar face caught up with her. "Miaomiao, wait for me." Lin Miaomiao turned around and saw it was Lin Yin. She was curious. Even though the weather had turned cooler, everyone still took a nap. Why was she out in the middle of the day? "Yin, where are you going?" Lin Miaomiao asked. "Why don't you rest in the dorm?" "Going to the Changguan gravity room. I'm feeling down, and I need to take some pressure off," Lin Yin complained with a pout. "You didn't take me on the mission, and it's making me feel terrible." Lin Miaomiao felt a sympathetic response. She, too, was feeling unhappy about everything, even lying in bed and lazing around. "I really want to go on a mission. I'm so tired of training all day. I've been trained like a robot," Lin Yin sighed. "I really want to sneak along, but unfortunately I don't know how to fly a battleship." "If you don't know how to fly, just learn. Once you've learned, I'll take you with me on every mission," Lin Miaomiao said absent-mindedly. She was considering a serious question, the possibility of sneaking along. "Forget it, I was just saying that," Lin Yin shook her head. She still preferred being a mecha pilot. While learning to fly a battleship offered a sense of accomplishment, it didn't offer the freedom of flying a mecha. At that moment, Lin Miaomiao's eyes suddenly lit up, and she excitedly grabbed Lin Yin. "Let's not go any further. Let's go aboard the Shenyu." "Aboard the Shenyu?" Lin Yin was stunned. "Why go aboard? How could she go aboard at this hour? It's not even 2 o'clock yet. The ship's doors should be closed. We'll see. Lin Miaomiao decided to try her luck. As it turned out, they were lucky, and boarded the Shenyu without a hitch. The ship's doors had been left open during the birthday party the previous night, allowing them access everywhere except the cockpit. Let's hide in my quarters first, Lin Miaomiao said, dragging Lin Yin upstairs. They encountered a few robots along the way, but they didn't try to stop them. Once inside Lin Miaomiao's quarters on the 3rd floor, Lin Yin felt a sense of surreality. How could it be so easy to get up there? No one had noticed them. Is this really okay? Lin Yin said, feeling uneasy. She wondered if the captain would find out and punish her. At worst, I'll just give them some confinement or some physical training, said Lin Miaomiao, adamantly. They can't just throw us off the ship and into space. If all else failed, she had a trick up her sleeve. Someone had admitted to pursuing her. If they really wanted to hold her accountable, she could sacrifice herself, have some slapstick, or something. After all, he had already forcefully taken her first kiss last time. Lin Yin was immediately happy when she heard it. It seems to make sense. As long as we leave Shaoyin Star, we don't have to be afraid. Seeing that she was relieved, Lin Miaomiao fell directly on the bed. There was nothing fun to do in the room, so she could only sleep. She patted the empty space next to her and said, "Come and have a nap. We will set sail when you wake up." "Okay, then I'll sleep for a while," Lin Yin agreed. Just as she was about to lie down to sleep, she became curious. "Miaomiao, you actually like black?" Both the quilt and the mat are black. Lin Miaomiao was stunned. Could she say that the quilt was lent to her by the captain? After the last mission, she forgot to change the quilt. No, next time she must remember to bring a quilt. The weather is getting cold, so it's only right to change to a thicker bed. "Well, it's not that I like black, I just think this color is more resistant to dirt," Lin Miaomiao explained with a wooden face. Fortunately, Lin Yin was a carefree person and didn't notice anything wrong. She thought it made sense and nodded frequently, saying, "This color is very resistant to dirt. Even if it gets dirty, you can't see it. Next time I'll buy a black one." The two of them chatted in bed for a while, and gradually they felt sleepy and fell asleep. They slept until 5:30 in the afternoon. At that time, Liu Kaoyer and others who were at the base habitually knocked on Lin Miaomiao's door, but found that no one came to open the door, so Liu Kaoyer sent a video message. Lin Miaomiao was woken up by the video call and answered it in a daze. "Hello, Kaoyer, what do you want to see me for? Where have you been? Why aren't you in the dormitory?" Liu Kaoyer asked, and then she saw her friend seemed to be sleeping in an unfamiliar room, with a familiar person lying next to her. "Are you in Yunyan's dormitory?" "Oh, no." Lin Miaomiao glanced sideways at Yunyan, who was also woken up, and said with a dull face, "I'm on the Shenyu." "What did you say?" "You're on the Shenyu?" Liu Kaoyer couldn't help but exclaimed, "Aren't you not on the mission list? The captain agreed to take you on the mission?" "Oh, and Yunyan is not on the list either." Lin Miaomiao's eyes rolled around, and she was a little undecided about whether to tell her friend about sneaking onto the ship. At this time, the Shenyu should have been in space, so it wouldn't matter if the news leaked out. Unfortunately, before she could say it, someone had already said it for her. Hongwen said Miaomiao won't be on a mission, and asked me to find her when I eat, and we can have dinner together and walk around the base or something. I didn't expect. Gulan's face was full of smiles. She could almost imagine her son's dark face when he heard that two people had sneaked onto the ship. "Aunt Yi," Lin Miaomiao said awkwardly, "why don't you go to dinner with Kaoyer and the others? Kaoyer is more talkative, and it won't be boring to have dinner with her." "What should I do if I'm caught doing something bad by my boss's mother?" "Waiting online, urgent." "Okay," Gulan agreed with a smile, "that's the only way. I don't want to have dinner and walk around the base with that brat Liu Yifei. He's very active in eating, but he's always reluctant to take me around the base." After hanging up the video call, Lin Miaomiao touched her slightly flat stomach and began to consider whether to fill it with snacks or drink a bottle of nutritional supplement. In fact, she wanted to go to the kitchen, for fear that Yu Hongwen would take her away for a lecture before she was full. Just when she was in a dilemma, there was a knock on the door. Lin Miaomiao was suddenly startled. How could she forget that Mother Yi had discovered her whereabouts and would definitely tell her son about it? She didn't know if it would be useful to pretend to be dead at this time. "Miaomiao, What should we do? Lin Yin asked in a low voice. She had a straightforward personality and had never done such a sneaky thing. She was a little at a loss. Let's pretend not to hear it first. Lin Miaomiao also answered in a low voice. Maybe I knocked on the wrong door. However, her idea was doomed to fail, because someone knocked on the door impatiently and threatened in a cold voice. Lin Miaomiao, open the door. I know you are in. If you don't open the door, I will add a few locks from the outside, and you won't be able to get out before we return to the base, villain. How dare you threaten me like this? Lin Miaomiao jumped up from the bed in anger, completely forgetting her previous plan to play dead. She ran to the door in a few steps and opened it. Chapter 274, Confinement. As soon as the door opened, Lin Miaomiao barked, Yi Hongwen, you want to starve us to death, don't you? Yi Hongwen was stunned for a moment, his gloomy expression softening. He asked with a mixture of laughter and tears, what are you saying? When did I ever starve you to death? Lin Miaomiao said angrily, don't play dumb. If you lock us in the room and don't let us out, won't we starve to death without food? Not really, Yi Hongwen said, not wanting to be fooled. Don't mention that you don't have a few boxes of nutrient solution in your space button. This is something all mecha technicians have on hand, okay? Lin Miaomiao had to admit that he was right. She had brought it up because someone was so mad at her, and she had to find a way to make him look more human. So far, it seemed like she had succeeded. However, she had to continue her nagging, or else she was afraid she'd be severely punished again, just like when she first joined the fleet and was killed hundreds of times in the game. The pain made her tremble at the thought of the game now. The nutritional supplements don't taste good. I'd rather starve to death than eat them, Lin Miaomiao said with great backbone. Yi Hongwen raised his eyebrows, since you're so stubborn, then stay in the room. I'll let you out when we get back to the base and see if you will drink it or not. After that, Yi Hongwen took advantage of her unpreparedness and gently pushed her into the dormitory. He pulled the door shut, and then there were several suspicious clicks from outside the door. Lin Miaomiao panicked and reached out to pull the door, but found that it would not open. She immediately slammed the door in a hurry. Open the door, let me out. Yi Hongwen, are you really going to lock us up in here and wait for death? Miaomiao, you are too serious. I am worried about you running around like this, but I don't want to really punish you. I can only let you stay in the dormitory and reflect on yourself. Yi Hongwen's cold and pleasant voice came through the door, a little small, but still very clear. After Yi Hongwen finished speaking, the corridor fell silent. Lin Miaomiao pressed her ear against the door, desperately trying to find evidence of someone else outside, but all she heard was the sound of receding footsteps. Are we being put in solitary confinement? Lin Yin muttered. She might be in solitary confinement for another 2 weeks, until they completed their mission and returned to base. Lin Miaomiao felt so frustrated she wanted to bang her head against the wall. She'd thought of countless ways to plead, both soft and hard, but he didn't even give her a chance, simply locking the door and running away. What should she do next? Obediently accept the punishment of solitary confinement, or harass someone with constant video chats until he couldn't stand it anymore and came to let her out? Neither option was a good one. The first option completely defeated the point of her sneaking aboard, while the second option was a bit far-fetched, as the solution to avoiding harassment was simple: simply block her contact number. I'll definitely go crazy if I'm locked up for 2 weeks, Lin Miaomiao sighed. There's nothing we can do. The boss has already threatened us like that, Lin Yin said with a frown. If she had known the consequences would be so serious, she would have stayed at the base for training. She couldn't go out for half a month and could only drink nutritional supplements. It was unimaginable. Would she become a dehydrated cabbage when she was released? By the way, you can drink nutritional supplements when you're hungry, but what if you need to go to the bathroom? Lin Yin suddenly thought of an important question. She said with some anticipation, actually, the boss is just trying to scare us. Lin Miaomiao turned around and glanced at her, and said sympathetically, when did Jianyin's eyes become problematic? Is it serious? What do you mean? My eyes are fine, Lin Yin was puzzled. They were clearly discussing solitary confinement, so why did they change the subject in the blink of an eye? There, Lin Miaomiao pointed to the end of the bed. There's such a bathroom, and you slept here all afternoon and didn't even see it. Lin Yin was shocked. She was too nervous when she came in, thinking about the serious consequences of sneaking onto the ship. She didn't pay attention to what was in the room, let alone know that there was a separate bathroom here. So, the boss is not trying to scare us, Lin Yin wanted to scream. What on earth was going on? Even beating her up like a punching bag would be better than putting her in solitary confinement. Let's wait and see, think of a way to see if we can get him to let us out. Lin Miaomiao began to rack her brains for a solution. Lin Yin also sat there in a daze for a while, wanting to think of a solution together, but her mind was full of mud and she couldn't think of any good ideas at all. If she couldn't think of it, she stopped thinking about it. Lin Yin thought of a question. Hey, Miaomiao, you really would rather die than drink the nutritional supplement? Yes, I would rather die than drink it, Lin Miaomiao said firmly, and then added with a wooden face, as long as I don't die, then just drink it. To prove her seriousness, she took out a pink high-end nutritional supplement from the space button, slurped it down her stomach in 3 or 2 gulps, and after drinking it, she met Lin Yin's weird look, and then she remembered that she seemed to be eating alone, so she calmly took out another one and stuffed it over. Here, I'll treat you to the strawberry flavor, it tastes good, Lin Yin. She was no longer hungry. And the good ideas that Lin Miaomiao couldn't think of were gone, so she strolled into the bathroom. I'm going to take a shower to wake myself up. This shower lasted for more than half an hour, so long that Lin Yin thought she had fallen into the drain, and someone who was taking a shower came out. Does a shower take so long? Lin Yin was puzzled. As someone who never took more than 10 minutes in the shower, she found it hard to understand what she was doing in there for half an hour. Lin Miaomiao wiped her damp hair with a large towel and said calmly, your hair is too long. I can't help it. I'm not as comfortable as you. I just cut it short, and it doesn't take long to wash. You can cut it short, Lin Yin suggested sincerely. Spending so much time washing your hair every day is such a waste. No, Lin Miaomiao said, wanting a short haircut, but she held back because, my mom says long, flowing hair is a girl's thing. Lin Yin's eyes widened. You mean I'm not a girl? Then what am I? Lin Miaomiao thought for a long time and offered her answer sincerely. A tomboy, you? Lin Yin was furious. Some people really are meant to be admired from afar. If you get close, your entire outlook on life will be completely redefined. The supposedly precocious little faceless person turned out to be just a pretentious idiot. I have to take a shower to clear my head, Lin Yin muttered to herself. If she continued, she might just start a fight with someone. Lin Miaomiao had no idea what she was thinking. She simply waved the energy-generating hairdryer at her and said, go ahead. I'll wait for you to come back and continue trying to figure out how to escape. They didn't seem to be in jail, did they? Perhaps Miaomiao had watched too many Star TV dramas. Lin Yin frowned, regretting her impulsive decision to follow this girl. Once on board, it was difficult to get off. Lin Yin resigned herself to her fate, quickly taking a quick shower and returning to bed to discuss important matters. Then, she realized, someone had already fallen asleep. Chapter 275 Stealing Fragrance. Lin Miaomiao carelessly fell asleep again, but Lin Yin couldn't. She even felt a little admiration for the snoring person next to her. She'd slept for 4 or 5 hours in the afternoon and had been awake for less than an hour. How sleepy could she be to fall back asleep? Tossing and turning until around 9 o'clock in the evening, Lin Yin sat up to watch a few episodes of Starview, but discovered the network on her communicator was a bit patchy, and the show was intermittent. She realized the warship must have flown to a place with no nearby planets. This is unbearable, Lin Yin sighed, looking at the soundly sleeping person with some envy. You're so carefree. You can't tell from your appearance? As she sighed, there were several soft clicks from the door, like the sound of a lock being unlocked. Then the knocking returned, but it wasn't louder, probably because it was late at night and they didn't want to disturb the neighbors. It was Yi Hongwen who locked the door. Since the outer lock was open, it could only be him. Lin Yin nudged Lin Miaomiao, trying to wake her, but the person, in his sleep, swatted the disturbing hand away and rolled over to sleep. Yi Hongwen glanced at her indifferently and cast his gaze towards the door. Where's Miaomiao? She looked like she was lying on the bed, and it was unclear whether she was asleep or just pretending not to see him. Lin Yin answered honestly, she fell asleep. She fell asleep not long after you left, boss. Yi Hongwen was speechless. She was in solitary confinement but could still sleep peacefully. Did she know that he didn't intend to punish her severely, or did she think that since she was in solitary confinement, she had nothing to do but sleep? Whatever the reason, this girl was really brave and had no idea what fear was. Go back to your own dorm, Yi Hongwen said to Lin Yin. Starting tomorrow, report to the training room every day. I'll have someone watch over you." Yun Yan's eyes lit up. So, solitary confinement was being replaced with physical training. Great news. For her, being cooped up in her room all day was pure torture. "Thank you, boss." Yun Yan excitedly ran off to her dorm. Since she was always on the Shenyu, she had a designated dorm. As she rushed back to her dorm, she realized she had forgotten to close Miaomiao's door. But boss was still there, so he should help, Yun Yan thought uncertainly. Despite this thought, she still felt a little worried. She went back to check. Seeing the closed door and the missing boss, she felt relieved. Yun Yan, naive, assumed the door was closed and the person missing because boss was a kind person who had closed the door for her when she saw she was asleep and then went back to rest. Little did she know, the person she thought had gone home was actually in someone else's room. At first, Yi Hongwen really intended to close the door and leave, but someone kicked the quilt at this moment. She happened to be wearing a small nightgown, and the hem of the skirt rolled up to the edge of her thighs, revealing a corner of light yellow. "How careless," Yi Hongwen whispered. The weather was cold, and the bed wouldn't be too hot even with a small air conditioning quilt. Why was she kicking the quilt? Afraid that she would catch a cold, Yi Hongwen prepared to go in and cover her with the quilt. After going in, he was afraid that someone would pass by the door, so he closed the door. After covering her with the quilt, he found that he didn't want to leave. Although the sleeping little girl still had no expression on her face, she looked very gentle, not aggressive at all, and she didn't have the usual sharp words, and she would not send him away unhappily. After looking at her for a long time and not getting tired of it, Yi Hongwen simply sat down by the bed and reached out to touch her snow-white face. It was smooth and tender, and it felt very comfortable. At the old station, she'd been tanned from frequent sunbathing. But after the relocation, with less sun exposure, she'd regained her school-era radiance, her beauty instantly revealed. Now, many of the men at the station were secretly glancing at her, which worried him. "You won't be kidnapped so easily," Yi Hongwen muttered to himself. "Gu Qingheng has a childhood sweetheart, and I don't think you'd be willing to compete with her for her." After sitting there for over an hour, and taking advantage of the situation to eat a few bites of tender tofu, Yi Hongwen finally decided to leave. Before leaving, he leaned in for a kiss, but was met with Lin Miaomiao's wide-open eyes, and fell silent. Lin Miaomiao had been awake half an hour ago. She wasn't dead, so how could she not notice someone touching her face and hands constantly? She was just sulking, so she ignored him. Who knew his harassment would escalate to include a kiss? Lin Miaomiao could no longer pretend when she sensed his presence approaching. She flung her eyes open, wanting to see how he would react after being caught. Would he run away out of shame, or would he agree to exempt her from the punishment of confinement? Unfortunately, all her plans failed. Although Yi Hongwen was surprised to be caught, he was not panicked. He even shamelessly continued under her scorching gaze. The moment she was kissed, Lin Miaomiao's already wide eyes widened even more. She subconsciously wanted to speak, but she didn't expect that this gave him an opportunity. A light kiss turned into a deep kiss. After she was released, her first reaction was to get up and move to the inside of the bed, accusing her angrily. "Yi Hongwen, you big bastard, you actually sneaked into my room in the middle of the night and took advantage of me." Seeing that she was awake, Yi Hongwen was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he sat by the bed and said in a very good mood, "Last night, someone said that they would rather starve to death than drink the nutrient solution. I came to check on her because I was afraid something might happen. It's your fault that something happened." Lin Miaomiao frowned, then remembered that a companion of hers was missing, and suddenly said in panic, "Where's Yan? What did you do to her?" The corners of Yi Hongwen's mouth twitched. What was the matter with this defensive expression? Could he throw someone out of the battleship? "I let her go back to her dormitory," Yi Hongwen answered honestly. "Really?" Lin Miaomiao was a little skeptical. "You really didn't throw her overboard?" He really thought so. Yi Hongwen was too tired to complain. "What good would it be if I threw my own team member overboard?" Lin Miaomiao actually knew that she was overreacting, but she was just unhappy, so she found a very good reason. "Maybe you wanted to do something bad to her and got resistance, so you got bold and threw her overboard. Look, you did something bad to me just now." Yi Hongwen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This girl was just trying to vent her anger, so she said nonsense whenever she got something she could get her hands on. But it didn't matter, he would tell her not to say anything careless. What do you mean by bad? Yi Hongwen asked calmly. As he spoke, his body tilted slightly, and his long hands accurately grabbed the person leaning against the wall. He held her in his arms and kissed her. After a long while, he let go, and continued to ask with a somewhat unstable breath, "Is that so?" Lin Miaomiao buried her head in his arms and refused to lift it up again, mumbling, "Damn hooligan." End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.